The decade of the 70s belonged to the at home against the Patriots on Week 15.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the New England Patriots versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Welcome to Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. It is sold out, but we'll have plenty of no-shows today. And because of the weather, that's the reason why a lot of people will stay at home and be warm. 4 degrees, wind chill of -9. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jim Donovan, along with Jimmy Cefalo. Ice cold. All three rivers are frozen today in Pittsburgh. Players frozen, too. How do they stay warm? How do they get the feeling today?
Well, a variety of ways. In cold weather, it's easier to dress up to keep warm as opposed to warm weather where you can't take enough of the clothing off. Some players wear the bodysuits. Others, Jim, I'm not afraid to say, will wear pantyhose. I mean, I wore them when I played. They keep you nice and warm. They'll wear them under the uniforms. Other players will wear gloves. Steeler quarterback Bubby Brister will wear gloves for the first time in his NFL career during a game today.
Now, the Steelers do have playoff possibilities. Let's run those down for you right now.
Well, Pittsburgh needs to win their final 2 games of the season to have any shot. They also need some help. Cincinnati and Cleveland have to lose at least 1 game apiece. And the Steelers need the Buffalo Bills to win that AFC Eastern Division.
But they could still not make it. If that scenario happens, the Steelers would be eliminated even if they won today. Now, New England is out of it, so they are looking for next year.
Right, and for the Patriots, it's an important couple of games because the coaching staff will be looking to find out which players quit and which players do not quit in the final 2 weeks of the season, despite the fact they're out of the playoffs. What they'll be looking for today is to find out if they've got a quarterback for the 90s. That quarterback may be Mark Wilson. Raymond Barry will take a look at him this afternoon to find out that very important question.
And so the New England Patriots will kick it away. That's Jason Starofsky. Has it on the tee, ready to go. Week number 15. Rod Woodson is back deep, second in the AFC on kickoff returns. Able to bust long ones, though, at any time. 4 degrees, -9 wind chill, and the Steelers need wins. That's their part of the whole business. They must keep on winning. The kick is short, and Woodson takes off from his own 13-yard line. Carries over the 30, and a nice run back for Woodson with that adjustment, and he brings it out to the 34-yard line. Tackle was made on the play by Howard Fagans. Bubby Brister and the Steeler offense out for their first possession. The offensive line coming along. Jackson, Reenstra, Dawson, Long, and Toon Chilkett in the backfield. Bubby Brister joined by a good rookie running back, Tim Worley. Merrill Hodge, a rookie wide receiver out of Arizona, Derek Hill. Lewis Lips and Mike Malarkey. In third down passing situations, the Steelers bring in Mark Stock, another rookie wide receiver, and a running back, Rodney Carter, who will also double up as a wide receiver. On first down, Worley gets the carry, slips and falls behind the line of scrimmage. He'll go back to the 31-yard line. Kenneth Sims and Ed Reynolds were coming in on the play and forced Worley to the outside before he wanted to get there. The Patriots defense, Sims, Goad, and Williams up front. Schultz gets the start today for the injured Vincent Brown. Reynolds, Rembert, and McGrew round out the linebacking crew. Then in the third down situations, when the Patriots go to their dime, Fagans and McSwain come in to join this secondary of Hurst, Claiborne, James, and Marion. Second down and 11, a loss of 1 on that first down play by Worley. Merrill Hodge in the backfield, the lone back behind Brister. 3 wide receivers in the game now for the Steelers. It's Hodge. Carries out to the 36-yard line, and he's wrapped up by the nose tackle, Tim Goad. So it will be third down and 8. New England's defense, when you consider, Jimmy, that terrible night against Green Bay in the preseason when they lost all of those players, Tippett, Lippett, and Veras, they've played well.
Oh, they've played extremely well, and their feeling, as we talked to many of the players yesterday, is that next season, when they get those 3 All-Pros back, the players who stepped up this year and taken those positions will be better prepared next year. And this is one of the teams to look for in the early 1990 season. They'll have the depth that most teams look for because of the injuries this season.
Here's Brister on third down and 8. No. On the season, he's completed 55% of his passes. On third down, they haven't been very good, short of 30%. He unloads high, and it's incomplete off the hands of Rodney Carter. And so the Steelers go 3 plays, and they'll punt on their first possession as he drilled that ball up to Carter.
Well, you got to think weather is taking had a little bit of the part of that ineffective series by Brister and the Steeler offense. The slip by Worley on first down, no one touched him when he fell to the ground. This turf is frozen, and as we all know, Brister's got a great arm, but if you throw the ball that quickly to a receiver who's got those frozen hands, you're going to get a lot of drop balls.
Irving Fryer is back deep for the Patriots. Errol Tucker was scheduled to take back punts and kickoffs, but he has a sore rib, so Fryer is back there. He'll receive the Harry Newsom punt. Good defensive stand by the Patriots on their first chance against the Steeler offense. Newsome had a rugged year last year. He's had a better year this year, although not a very good first punt on week number 15, as it will stop up near the 35, out near the 38-yard line, and New England takes over there. The Patriots offense via Farrell. Farrell missed last week with a sore ankle in Miami. He's back in today. Babb, Fairchild, and Armstrong. Armstrong being their best offensive lineman. Wilson, Perryman, Stevens, Hartley Dykes, who's coming on as a rookie wide receiver. Fryer, and the tight end is Lynn Dawson. Then the Patriots in third down situations go to their jet offense. Cedric Jones and Eric Sievers come in. First and 10, New England. Good field position to start it off at the 38-yard line. They're on 38. And here comes John Stevens. Stevens goes out to the 40, and he is trapped there. Gerald Williams, the nose tackle, is in on the stop, along with Keith Willis. Let's meet the Steeler defense now. Willis, Williams, and Johnson up front. Hinkle, Little, Osowski, a rookie right here from Pittsburgh. He's out of Pitt. And Greg Lloyd, the linebackers. Lloyd had a big game last week against the Jets. Then when the Steelers go to their dime, Johnson and Hall come in. And the Steelers secondary, the attorney at law, Dwayne Woodruff at one corner, Woodson at the other, Lake, a rookie, and Everett. Second down at 7. Stevens got 3 yards on first down, and he gets the call again, running, trying to get to the block of Armstrong, but the Steelers get there and drop him for a loss. Back to the 35-yard line. Gerald Williams and Tim Johnson are there.
Great penetration. This New England offensive line has been moved around because of injury in the past couple of weeks. But take a look at it. From the inside, Gerald Williams over the nose tackle, getting the great penetration, and Stevens doesn't have time to get turned upfield.
It's third down and long now, third down and 12. Stevens came into the game with 757 yards rushing. So the Patriots will go shotgun now. Mark Wilson, the 4th quarterback this season for the Patriots. 4 wide receivers. Eric Sievers is going in motion on 3rd and 12. Down the sideline for Hartley Dykes. The ball was thrown behind him, and it actually ran off the back of Delton Hall, who was on the coverage. Hall coming in on the dime situation. And so the Patriots, like the Steelers, go 3 plays, and they'll punt.
This is definitely the kind of weather that favors a defense. It's tough to get warmed up when you come out, especially if you're a third down wide receiver just coming into the game late. That's Hartley Dykes. Now, Wilson will look to him because of his great size. He's about 6'3", good height, and they'll throw the ball downfield with the hopes of trying to get him to out-jump a defensive back. Didn't work on that occasion.
First punt of the day now for Jeff Feagles and Rod Woodson, and he looks like the masked man there, doesn't he? Looks like he's going to hold up a wagon train with that face mask guarded up by his mouth and nose area. Feagles slipped when he was punting, lost his footing. The ball bounces to Woodson at the 27. And out to the 32-yard line. 37-yard punt. But it was almost a disaster. There is a flag down on the play because when Feagles was planting, Jimmy, as he was moving towards the football, he slipped and lost his footing.
This is a frozen turf, and you'll see slips throughout the afternoon.
Tom Dooley's our referee today, and it's holding against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And what happens, Jim, on a turf like this? It gets very, very slick. There's been some snow here, as you know, in the last few days, and when the turf freezes, it just turns into ice, and there you see the slip, unable to plant with the left foot. And he was fortunate to get that kick off as far as he did.
It was on the run back. That's where the penalty was. And so the Steelers are going to be moved back to their 22-yard line. No score, 11:33 left here in the first quarter when we come back. Well, the Steelers and Patriots have not met in some time. 1986 was the last time, right here at Three River Stadium in New England behind Steve Grogan that day. Shut him out. 34-0.
Of course, Rod Rust was on the other side of the field at that time. Rust, now the defensive coordinator for the Steelers, spent many years as a coordinator for the New England Patriots.
And he sent a number of Patriots defensive players to the Pro Bowl. That's Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers, on the sideline. Bubby Brister, 1st and 10, Steelers. Second possession, a lot of time, and across the middle it's Lewis Lips. And Lips goes out of bounds at the 44-yard line. .22-yard pass play. As Lips came across the middle, they were trying to get the ball more to him now in the last couple of weeks.
And this is one of the ways to do it. This is actually an option route. He has the option of continuing all the way across the field if he sees the drops of the linebacker, or hooking up in the middle. Here he continues all the way across, and you're right. As we talked to the Steelers yesterday, they said one of our priorities is getting the football to Lips 4.
Boy, if Brister gets that much time, he could have a big afternoon. He had a lot of time in that backfield. Merrill Hodge up the middle. And into New England territory to the 45-yard line, and he'll have another first down. He picks up 12 yards, and that looked like one of those famous Steeler trap plays along that offensive line.
It hasn't changed throughout the years. In the Super Bowl years, they were trapping with their guards and tackles. And here now in the modern era, as they're trying to reach the playoffs, check the pull by number 74, Terry Long. That's what springs the running back through the middle. The reason that Terry Long is so effective as a guard, he's the shortest lineman in the NFL. When he traps, he comes off the center's block, and defenders have trouble finding him. He surprises many of them.
New England territory now for the Steelers as 2 consecutive first downs. Derek Hill and Lewis Lips, the wide receivers. They're in an I formation in the backfield, and Bubby Brister has to call timeout. Now, yesterday he told us they were going to audible almost on every player. At least they have that opportunity. We'll come back and see what Bubby does after he visits the sidelines. 10:34 to go in the first quarter, and still no score from Pittsburgh. Welcome back to Pittsburgh.
This is the reason that Brister called the timeout. That's the nose tackle, Tim Goad, and Brister is reading him all day. He's usually lined up over one of the guards. There he was lined up over the nose. Brister will run away from him all day long, audibly at the line of scrimmage.
So they have to use the timeout, and on 1st and 10, Brister's putting it up. He's got Derek Hill open. All the way down to the New England 11-yard line, a 35-yard pass play, and Brister's come up with 3 big plays in a row.
And he needs a big game if the Steelers are going to have any shot at making to the playoffs. He's not thrown a touchdown pass in the past 5 weeks. Some of that has been out of his control. He's had some balls dropped, that kind of thing. But take a look at it. A great pattern by the rookie Derek Hill, going to the post and then back to the corner against the veteran Raymond Claiborne, and a perfect pass by Brister.
But this is where the Steelers have had trouble. Right when they get to the 10-yard line, trying to score, Merrill Hodge goes inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line, and I take you back a couple of weeks to prove that point. Against Houston, in a game that could come back and haunt them if they don't make the playoffs, they were inside the 5 twice and had to settle for field goals each time. And Merrill Hodge is a key man inside the 10-yard line, too.
Well, he led this team in rushing a year ago and in receiving. And now when you have the rookie, Tim Worley, coming in, he's taken a bit of a secondary role as far as a running back is concerned, but he's still key to them, especially inside the 10-yard line.
Chuck Noll looking on. It is 2nd down and 7 from the 8. They can get a first down at the 1-yard line. He'll go to Worley this time. He hurdles and scores. Touchdown, Steelers.
Like the trap block again. It is. This time they pull the other guard. 79 John Reinstra comes through, makes the block, and that opens the big gap up the middle for Worley, the rookie.
And week by week, he keeps getting stronger and stronger. Worley, who missed most of training camp.
Look at the left part of your screen. The great block by 79 Reinstra, and that's what opened the hole.
Gary Anderson's point after try is good, and the Steelers jump out to a 7-0 lead. As we'll watch Tim Worley once again, the rookie out of Georgia.
Watch that left part of your screen. Watch the great block. It's Reinstra, and also in the middle, Dermonte Dawson, number 63, the center, seals the inside. A gaping hole for Worley to run through.
9:45 to go in the first quarter at Steelers. Back in Pittsburgh, a quick drive, and it covered 77 yards, and Worley gets the touchdown, and so New England trails 7-0 as Patrick Egu takes it from his 8-yard line. He's got a hole up the middle. He fumbles. Steelers were all over it, but then a New England player jumped in and got to it, and the official says it is Patriots ball. Boy, Egu coughed it up, and there were all black and gold clad players around it, but the Patriots come up with it. It might have been Wansley that came up with it. George Wansley might have recovered the fumble. Here's Egu coming. Watch him. He gets stuck right there.
For just a second, it looked like he was going to have a hole to get some room, and Tim Tyrell, I think, was the one who really popped it loose, number 23, and then they blew the opportunity. Eagle jumped back on top of it, but for a moment, a couple of Steelers had a shot, especially A.J. Jenkins, number 99.
First and 10, New England out of the I formation, trailing 7-0. Cedric Jones down the line in motion. Wilson to pass. Across the middle, it was almost picked off by Jerry Olszewski, the rookie from Pitt. A 10th round draft choice. He would have been long gone if he held on to it. He was trying to get the ball to Perryman.
It was a check down route. You know, he just sneaks out of the backfield, and he was surprised by Olszewski coming over. But Wilson got away with one. He was just trying to dump it off. Take a look at it. Nobody's open downfield. Perryman, number 34, sneaks down for a little release valve, and Olszewski really just walked into the play.
So New England avoids disaster twice. The fumble on the kickoff and then a near interception. Wilson's going to keep it and go, and he goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line. All right, let's go to NFL Live right now. Here's Bob Costas in New York with this update.
Okay, Jim, big one at Riverfront on the game's first play from scrimmage. Houston fumbles. David Fulcher recovers for Cincinnati. Boomer Esiason immediately cashes in 22 yards to Eddie Brown. The Bengals must win to stay alive. If Houston wins, they clinch the Central. 7-0 Cincy in the first. Jim?
All right, thanks, Bob. 7-0 here. Steelers lead over the Patriots.
And that's an important game for the Steelers. They really need Cincinnati to lose that football game. That will take care of one of the variables, one of the many variables they need to make it into the playoffs.
The Patriots are in their jet offense on 3rd down and 6. Wilson throws across the middle, and the rookie Hartley Dykes makes the catch and is nailed by Thomas Everett. But he's got a first down out near midfield. Hartley Dykes has come on in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Cincinnati leads, as Bob told you, 7-0. Green Bay and Chicago are tied at 7-7. That game in Cleveland is a big one, too, as the Browns are struggling to make the playoffs. No score there. Miami now leads 10-0 over Indianapolis. Remember, they're tied with Buffalo in the AFC East, both at 8-6. And Detroit is coming on, aren't they, Jimmy, the last few weeks?
Yeah, the run and shoot. They're talking about scrapping it, including a tight end next season. Maybe they'll change their mind.
On first down, Robert Perryman. Inside Steeler territory down to the 48-yard line. We talked to Perryman last night, and he went to Bourne High School in Massachusetts. But he did grow up in the Pittsburgh area. His parents went to school here. So he said, you know, I really was a Steeler fan. I remember Franco Harris making the immaculate reception against the Raiders here. He didn't have tickets that day, incidentally.
He said he stayed here until he was about 13 years of age before moving away, and really wanted to wear the black and gold of the Steelers at one time in his career.
So Perryman has become a good back for them. He's had a fine season, and he set some goals for himself, and he's starting to reach them, catching the football and running. He got 3 on first down. They're in Steeler territory. 2nd down, 7. Fryer in motion. Wilson goes underneath, and Eric Sievers is there. And Sievers is inside the Pittsburgh 45 to the 44. David Little and Brian Hinkle are on the tackle. The 2 inside linebackers. In fact, all 3 are there for Pittsburgh, as Olszewski was there, too.
Now, what a story for Eric Sievers this year. He had, as you see, just 3 receptions in the previous 3 seasons. And he came over as a Plan B free agent from the Rams. And here in the throwing offense, already has 47. Leads the team in receiving this year.
Sievers can double up, tight end and as a wide receiver. 3rd down and 2. 3rd down conversions this year. New England is close to 35%. And they'll go a shotgun formation right now with Stevens on the left of Wilson. And wide open is Sievers, and he's got a first down inside the Pittsburgh 35, and he's bumped out of bounds. Carnell Lake is over to drill him out along with Olszewski. Lake is a story too. Imagine he was a linebacker at UCLA, but realized that his chances of being a linebacker in the NFL were not going to be that good. So he went up to the coaches at UCLA and said, you know, teach me how to play the secondary, because that's where I think I'm going to be in the pros.
And he wound up as a 5th-round draft choice, which for someone switching positions shows you the kind of ability he had. He had 24 sacks in his college career at UCLA, so he was someone who they saw had the ability and the speed to make the switch.
Now, in the meantime, Wilson and the Patriots are really moving. Perryman. And he gets up near the 31-yard line. Robert Perryman out of the University of Michigan. He's wrapped up by Gerald Williams, the nose tackle, and Tim Johnson.
Perryman told us last night he had a couple of goals coming into the season. He wanted to have 600 yards rushing, and he's getting close to that. He's got nearly 500 now. And he also wanted to go up to 30 receptions on the year. He had 26 coming into today's contest. So even playing with someone like John Stevens in the backfield, where they want to pound away with him as an all-pro, as a rookie a year ago, Perryman has still improved a great deal this year.
Now, Sievers is at the bottom of your screen as a tight end. They had 3 wide receivers in. Second down, Wilson throws down the middle, and there's Hartley Dykes again. And he makes the catch, and that big target really showed up there as he just stood up tall and made the grab. They throw that ball up by his collar, and that's very high. Carnell Lake, who's a big guy himself, he takes the worst of that lick.
The biggest surprise, we did a couple of Patriot games earlier in the year. The biggest surprise has been this man, 88, Hartley Dykes. I was critical of him early on in the season. He was half-hearted coming across the middle, didn't want to go after a football. And today already he's made 2 tough catches for a wide receiver. He's improved greatly. One of the problems he had coming into this offense is that he was a late signee. He didn't sign until the end of August for the Patriots. It took him a while to become adapted to the pro game. But as Raymond Berry told us last night, the advantage of having someone as big as Hartley Dykes is that he gives you another dimension. You can throw the football up in the air, let him go after it.
Carnell Lake is being walked off the field, but under his own power, he's okay. Well, what a large man you are, really, now to come back and compliment Hartley Dykes, because that was a brutal assault on him some weeks ago.
Right. It's easy to criticize sitting up in the booth, and he wasn't playing very well
wrapped
this
in an
season.
Electric blanket. I'll say it's easy.
But you got to give him his due. He's really performed well over the past few weeks.
It's 1st and 10. New England at the 17. Larry Griffin has come in to replace the injured Carnell Lake with Irving Fryer in motion. Here comes Stevens sweeping. Boy, tough go for him. Maybe a yard to the 16. They'll give a yard to the 15. NFL Live update. We go to New York once again, and here's Bob Costas.
All right, Jim, now pay careful attention. Ron Stark punts for the Colts. Here's Scott Schwades for the Dolphins, wearing whose old number? Jimmy Cephalo's, that's who, and doing number 81 proud. 70 yards later, he's in the end zone. Dolphins have a crack at the title in the AFC East, and for sure, if they win their last 2, they've got a wild card. They lead 10-0 in the first. Back to Jim and Jim.
Jim and the magical number 81.
Yeah, you know, they gave it to 3 very fast guys. You had Howard Twilley before me, and now you got Schwade. 3 guys who really sped up the field.
John Stevens coming near side this time. And coming up to really force him out was Larry Griffin. Griffin and Osowski were there to come up and turn the play inside, and Stevens has run out of bounds. So it's going to be 3rd down for New England.
We mentioned this offensive line had trouble because of injury, but they're starting to perform well. 62, that's Sean Farrell coming around on the pole. He doesn't get a piece of very many people. That's really all John Stevens. They got a hook block from the tight end, 87. That's Lynn Dawson, is key to John Stevens in this running game of the Patriots.
Now, they were throwing the ball very effectively, but they get down deep here, and they've run themselves into 3rd down and long now, 3rd down and 8. 4 wide receivers in. The 1 back is Perryman as Wilson unloads for Dykes. He's got it. Up near a 1st down. Should have it if they give him a good spot, and I believe they do at the 6-yard line. It will be 1st and goal, New England, as Dwayne Woodruff is there. And I'll tell you, 88 is a busy guy.
Hey, another tough catch, too. Those slant patterns is the toughest route for a receiver to catch. You know you're going to get clocked, and he got enough for the 1st down, which is unusual for a rookie. He knew exactly where he had to get to. That's a big-time play by Hartley Dykes.
1st and goal, Patriots at the 6. Now remember, on this drive, it started actually with the kickoff, and remember, Patrick Egu coughed that up, but New England recovered their own fumble, with Steelers draped all around Egu, and they've been able to move it down the field, trying to tie the game. Perryman, he tried to run left, then tried to cut it up the middle. There's a loose ball on the field. The Steelers say they have it, but the official that the ball has been blown dead as Greg Lloyd is trying to come out of the pack. And Lloyd spikes the ball in anger, but the Patriots players are saying the play was dead, the ball was down, and it's their ball. And you see Tom Dooley pointing down to the ground.
Let's find out if it's a correct call or not. It's Greg Lloyd, number 95, and it does appear that he hit the ground. As we all know, the ground cannot cause the fumble, and that's apparently what happened. I think it's a good call by the official on the field.
Boy, what about Lloyd last week against the Jets?
Hey, he got into it with Mark Wilson just a moment ago. This guy doesn't like quarterbacks very much, does he?
Patriots have called a timeout. They used their first timeout.
Let me tell you why that's not a very smart call. For this reason, they're reviewing that in the booth. Now, we think, apparently, that it was a good call on the field, that he went down to the ground. But why would you call a timeout right before they're going to make a decision in the booth? If you run another play, it can't be looked at again. Now they've got all the time in the world to look at this thing and change their mind. That looks like it comes out now from that angle. What do you think?
Could we see it again?
If we can look at it again, I think it comes out at a second look at it. And I'll tell you, that may cost the Patriots the football by calling a timeout.
Now, see, he's juggling the ball right there. Then he tries to put it away. So this play has been called dead on the field. His knee was down.
Now, the ball comes out before he hits the ground, but the whistle blew. And what they're saying is, as we know also, once the whistle blows, it can't be changed in the booth. But on the field, if you're a coach, after a controversial play, run it as quickly.
So it is just strictly a timeout for New England. They are not reviewing the play because the decision was made that the ball was blown dead. New England has it. Second down and goal at the 5-yard line. Patrick Egu checks into the game at running back along with Perryman. Marv Cook is in at a tight end as Perryman gets it and plows for a tough 1.5 yards, and that's it.
I got to tell you, I think the officials blew that call, though. I mean, a whistle may have blown on the field, but he was still moving, and that ball popped out before it hit the ground.
Tough sledding for Perryman as he's inside the 5 down at the 4.5-yard line, and it will be now third down and goal. New England yet on third down. Raymond Berry and Mark Wilson have had the magic on third down here today. They're 3 for 4. Steelers lead 7-0. Tim Worley went in from 8 yards out. And New England's trying to answer back. Big play, third and goal. Walmsley, no go. He's down to the 2-yard line and runs into the arms of Greg Lloyd. Now it's fourth down. Now you're not going to the playoffs, Jimmy. You're 5-9. What are you going to do? Do you go for it on fourth down?
Well, I think it's about 2 yards away, so I'd kick the field goal, and that's exactly what Raymond Berry is going to do. What a great surge by that front 7 of the Steelers. This defense is much improved over the past few weeks of the season.
Now, can you believe they didn't throw the ball down there?
I'm
close
surprised.
like that. I mean, why wouldn't you just loop it for Hartley Dykes? He's so big and tall.
That's one of the advantages of having a receiver as tall as Hartley Dykes is.
Jason Starofsky is 11 for 13 since rejoining the Patriots. From 21 yards out, he hits it, and the Patriots are on the board. It's officially a 20-yard field goal for Starofsky, who's now 12 for 14. New England on the board. It's 7-3 Steelers late in the first. In Pittsburgh, Jim Donovan along with Jimmy Cefalo. Jason Starofsky kicks a 20-yard field goal, capping off that New England drive and gets them on the board. It's 7-3 Pittsburgh. And Rod Woodson is set to go to try and take back this kickoff. New England had the ball, first and goal, but couldn't get it in as they ran 3 running plays and opted to kick the field goal on fourth down.
Last night when we talked to Raymond Berry, he talked about the effect of having a tall, big wide receiver like Hartley Dykes. And he compared them to the old days, not in ability, but in size, with Max McGee and Boyd Dowler and the Packers. And I'm surprised, as you were, Jim, they didn't try to lob it to him down there in the end zone.
Here's Woodson taking off from his own 11. Oh, look at that speed. Up to the 39-yard line. He was through that crease up the middle in a blink. Good return by Rod Woodson with 1:49 left to go here in the first quarter. That's the danger of Woodson. I mean, he is really so quick. Watch him go.
Well, it's a middle return, which is unusual, too. That's the toughest for a return man because that's where all the bodies are located. But he doesn't need much of a crack, as you mentioned in the open of the show. He's a world-class hurdler and was second in the NFL's fastest man competition to Darrell Green 2 years ago. Tremendous speed.
First and 10 Pittsburgh. They scored a touchdown the last time they had the ball. They lead 7-3. It looks like Brister's checking off now at the line of scrimmage.
Again, he's reading Tim Goad, the nose tackle. He's running away from him.
Fakes the pass, gives it to Worley. He's sweeping. Down the sideline goes Worley. Big run down to the New England 39.
Did you see this block downfield by John Jackson, number 65? He leveled the quarterback going down that way. This is a bit of misdirection. Everybody going to the right, and they turn around and give it on the reverse. Now watch 65. Jackson knocks Raymond Claiborne over, and that gives Worley another 5 yards downfield.
Incidentally, credit Merrill Hodge for a big block on Lawrence McGrew. McGrew was coming on an inside rush. Hodge bumped him off the play, and then Worley had the corner. Worley has 29 yards rushing so far here in the first quarter. So it's first and 10 Pittsburgh leading 7-3. Here comes Hodge. And Hodge runs right into Bruce Schultz, the former Seattle Seahawk, getting the start here today for the New England Patriots. Cincinnati now is up their lead, 14-0. James Brooks with a touchdown. Houston having trouble there. No scoring Cleveland. Green Bay, Don Majkowski has thrown a touchdown pass as they lead over Chicago. He threw it to Perry Kemp. Miami now leads 10-7 as the Colts get a touchdown. And Detroit, behind 2 Bob Galliano touchdown passes, leads over Tampa Bay. 7-3 here, Pittsburgh. Steelers must keep on winning to keep any hopes of going to the playoffs alive. 2nd down and 10. Brister back. He throws on the wrong side of Dwight Stone, who had to come back and try and make the catch at the 31-yard line. It's incomplete. The rookie out of Southern, Maurice Hurst, was over on the coverage. He's had a good season. Now, he's been in there for the injured Rod McSwain, at least early in the season, and he leads the team in interceptions with 4.
Yeah, he's a 4th-round choice out of Southern University, and I don't think they expected him to play as much or as well as he did, but with the injury to McSwain, who, by the way, is now back and healthy but not starting, they really have a find in Maurice Hurst.
54 seconds left, first quarter. It's 3rd down and 10. Steelers have 4 wide receivers in. Merrill Hodge in the backfield. Pump fake. Now he's got to get out of there. He's in big trouble. Up the field, incomplete. Diving for it was Mark Stock, a rookie out of VMI. On the coverage was Howard Fagans. But all 3 New England Patriots rushers, Brent Williams, Tim Goad, and Lawrence McGrew, were in the backfield chasing Bubby Brister.
Well, Brister has got the great movement out of the backfield. We know that about him. He also has the very, very strong arm. But here he just has nobody downfield and intelligently gets away with throwing the football away. Chuck Noll told us yesterday the thing about Brister, what he's been doing lately, is making the right decisions, the smart ones. He's very pleased by his performance despite the fact that this Steeler offense is 28th last in the NFL in total offense.
Newsom's first punt, 26 yards. It slid off the side of his foot. That's Errol Tucker, so he is back there playing with a sore rib. A low snap. A knuckleball inside the 20, inside the 10, and a good Steeler roll. Dwight Stone is just going to watch it gettle down by the 5-yard line. There's a flag down upfield, though. A flag down by where the line of scrimmage was on a 34-yard punt, and it's coming back. It's against Pittsburgh, and you know that the Patriots will want them to punt that one over again. Boy, when he hit that ball, it looked terrible, but there was a method to his madness there, Jimmy.
Yeah, sometimes luck is better than method. That's what it comes down to. It's a low snap, actually.
4th down.
And he was just happy to get it away. You know, a punter back there with a low snap, they'll panic on occasion, but he's just a 2-step punter, and that takes a lot less time to get it off. But he got a bit lucky with the roll.
And the penalty was on A.J. Jenkins for motion.
Newsom back.
Boy, that's tough to give up when the ball goes inside the 10 down at the 5-yard line like that. And now Newsom will have to punt it over again. Errol Tucker started the year with Buffalo, and now he's here in New England. 7-3 Steelers, 32 seconds left, first quarter. 4 degrees, -9 wind chill here in Pittsburgh. Good high punt. And they race down, and Dwight Stone gets on it inside the 5-yard line. Good special teams play by Pittsburgh. So bad field position for the Patriots down at the 5-yard line. Second half of our doubleheader. Most of you on these NBC stations will see the Buffalo Bills in a major game for them. They head west to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. That's coming up next on most of these NBC stations. Now kick off the new year in style with NBC's Championship Monday College Bowl lineup. The excitement begins with the Hall of Fame Bowl, where the SEC power Auburn Tigers take on the Buckeyes of Ohio State, then the high-scoring Florida State Seminoles battle Nebraska. Then it's the game for the national championship, Colorado and Notre Dame. Championship Monday here on NBC. New Year's Day, New England deep in their own territory, and they go to Robert Perryman, and he runs it out near the 9-yard line. Tackled by Gerald Williams, and Greg Lloyd is on top along with Rod Woodson.
Tackled by Gerald Williams.
Perryman's been busy today, and we haven't seen that much of John Stevens. We'll see more of him as the afternoon goes along, as the first quarter is over here in Pittsburgh. Up and down the field they went. The Steelers on a Tim Worley touchdown, and the Patriots on a Jason Starofsky field goal. It's
And you've got to wonder about the future as far as the New England Patriots and Doug Flutie is concerned. He got his shot in the middle of the year and did not perform up to expectations. This is a team that's really looking for a quarterback, and Flutie, you got to wonder if he fits in their plans. Tony Eason, of course, waived, and now with the Jets starting today for New York.
Second down and 8 as we start the second quarter. New England is pinned in at their own 10-yard line, trailing 7-3. And Wilson right back up the middle, throws in the direction of Irving Fryer, who is complaining that he was held on the play. Now right behind Fryer was Hartley Dykes, but the pass was intended for 80, Irving Fryer, who's had an injury-plagued season, but it all started when he was late for training camp, too. He was a holdout.
Yeah, that was one of the problems. These Patriots, when you look at them,
they're loaded with talent.
They are loaded.
Especially offensively at the real skilled positions.
Exactly, but they have had so many injuries. They are the most injured team in the NFL. All-Pro after All-Pro has gone down for this team, particularly defensively. But they've had 18 people on injured reserve at one time or another during this season.
Third down and 8 from their own 10. They're 3 for 5 on third down conversions. Eric Sievers in motion. Big rush from the outside. He gets it away. Sievers has it, but short of the first down. Tackle on the play by Thomas Everett. Jimmy, you talked about injured reserve. Here they come, the New England Patriots, who have been on IR right now or at some point during the season.
Kind of looks like our credits going up the screen. There are a lot of people involved.
That is amazing.
And it's tough to overcome that kind of an injury list. You know, it happened in every single position. We mentioned the 3 key defenders who went out in the same game in preseason. Varys, Tippett, and Lepet all went out at the same time, but they've been affected at every juncture of their football team.
Rod Woodson stands at midfield. Steelers should get good field position. Here's Fiegels from his own goal line. Low snap, handles it. Good punt by Fiegels. Way back goes Woodson at his 38. He's got to crease up the sideline. And he is pushed out of bounds by Rod McSwain at the 41-yard line. A 45-yard punt. But Woodson returns it to the near sideline over by the Steeler bench and gets them in New England territory to start their drive, leading 7-3. This is the 15th Sunday. Cincinnati blowing Houston away 21-0. So that AFC Central could go right down to the last week of the season. Now Green Bay and Chicago are tied. Miami's lead has been sliced into as Trudeau has thrown a touchdown pass in that game for the Colts. Detroit leading Tampa Bay 14-0. Kind of surprised that Kansas City has not scored yet. They're playing in brutal cold weather at Arrowhead. Tim Worley. Good run. Up near a first down inside the Patriot 35 down to the 34-yard line. Fred Marion is over on the tackle.
A good running back has to make at least one person miss. That's the key to being a good runner, not just a fair one in the NFL. He makes number 38, that's Roland James, miss and gets enough for the first down. Worley has that slashing ability. He's a big man, not small by any stretch of the imagination, 6'2", 228, but he also has the slashing ability to get around people.
Roland James couldn't pin him down there. First down for the Steelers and a quick handoff play, and diving up the middle is Merrill Hodge. Well, that's a nice 1-2 punch they have when their running game is clicking, Jimmy. 2 different kind of runners. Worley, a big guy that can get to the outside, and Merrill Hodge gets the cleanup yardage, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's also a good receiver coming out of the backfield. This is a Steeler team when you look at them. If they can straighten out their offensive line, and it looks like they're starting to do that, this is an offense with Brister beginning to mature that can win in the NFL for a long time to come.
Hodge has run for 24 yards, Worley for 40 yards. Chuck Noll has to like what he has seen so far, especially in the last few weeks. They won at Miami. Last week they pitched a shutout against the Jets. Malarkey, the tight end, in motion on 2nd and 5. Oh, he didn't know where to throw it, did he? He couldn't get rid of it. He kept pump faking, and I think it finally deflected off Tim Goad. But Brister had nowhere to go with the ball. I mean, he was just flustered right there.
Well, the man who he wanted to go to is Louis Lips. I mean, he only had 3 receivers into the pattern. That was one of the problems that Brister found. They had a zone defense downfield, and with a zone behind it and only 3 people in the pattern, there's no place to go. Now, take a look at Lips right there on the bottom of your screen. This is that option route we talked about. See that zone? Everybody's sitting in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
He doesn't get open until he crosses the numbers on the other side. By then, it's much too late for Brister to throw the football.
Lips is having a fine season. He has a catch here today. It's 3rd down and 5 now. Shotgun. Brister forced out of the pocket. Brent Williams is right on his back. He's throwing, and Stock, the rookie, has it inside the 5.
This is an absolutely great throw by Bubby Brister, rolling to his left and throwing with pinpoint accuracy. Most quarterbacks running to their right might be able to get away with this, but Brister to the left. Now look where he had to put it, only on that one spot just inside the bounce marker, and a good catch by Mark Stock downfield. The longest catch of his career by Mark Stock.
Out of VMI, the rookie makes the grab. It's 1st and goal Steelers. They have the ball close to the 1-yard line. Craig Wolfley is into the lineup now as an extra blocker, and he is also an eligible receiver. Handoff up the middle, touchdown Steelers. Merrill Hodge. Hang on, do we have a flag down?
It's out of that or just a yellow piece of cloth that's laying there on the field. Yes, we do.
It's on Brent Williams of the Patriots offside. Decline, and the touchdown stands. Merrill Hodge scores.
See if they go to the trap down here on the goal line. Usually that does not occur. Now it's straight ahead blocking. Following once again, Terry Long, number 74, with a nice block pulling from the backside, and John Reinstra, number 79, and Hodge gets in for the score.
Gary Anderson's extra point is up, and it is good. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have a touchdown in the first and a touchdown here in the second as Merrill Hodge goes in from 1 yard out. Here it comes. Brister to Hodge off the left side, barrels in behind good blocking, and the Steelers in a game they need. Merrill Hodge gets the touchdown, and there you see him in the background. It only took 1:36. Both of their touchdown drives have been short of 2 minutes. I think their first touchdown drive was 1:48. Big plays set them up. First of all, a good punt return by Woodson, but then a big pass by Brister to the rookie Mark Stock that got them 1st and goal. Here's Errol Tucker for New England. Going to the far side of the field, and Errol Tucker still going. It's kind of hard to find him once he gets in a crowd. He's on the short side as he brings it out to the 25 to the 26-yard line. David Johnson in on the tackle for Pittsburgh. Cincinnati jumps out 21-0 as Boomer Esiason has thrown a touchdown pass there. They lead over the Oilers. Minnesota and Cleveland are in the second, no score. Jim Harbaugh has thrown a touchdown pass to tie up that game with the Pack at Soldier Field. Miami needs that game badly. They jumped out 10-0, but the Colts have answered back. Nick Lowry's hit a 36-yard field goal for the Chiefs as they're in the playoff hunt. And Detroit and Tampa Bay, and the Lions are out in front there, 17-0. The Steelers trying to keep their playoff hopes alive too, lead 14-3 over New England. New England with 67 total yards in the game so far. Robert Perryman off the left side goes out over the 25 to the 27-yard line, tackled by Tim Johnson and Jerry Olszewski.
You have to wonder whether or not the Patriots are saying, John Stevens, it's late in the year, we're not in the playoff hunt. He's been banged up for much of the season. Maybe we don't push our luck with his injury, make him strong for next year, because right now he's not carried the ball very often. It's been all Perryman, who has 6 carries on the day.
Perryman and Stevens. There's John Stevens. He's tried to run outside a couple of times, hasn't been able to get there. Wilson unloads, and it is caught. This time, Lynn Dawson. They say a great blocking tight end. As a matter of fact, Mark Wilson said last night to us he's probably the best in the business blocking, but he shows us he has some hands there, and New England gets a first down.
Well, you remember Dawson during the Super Bowl against the Bears a couple of years ago had a severe knee injury during the game, missed an entire year, and the Patriots really missed him. He is big, strong, has the ability to hook a defensive end or a linebacker that allows them to run wide. He's a key to their running game.
So it's a first down out to their own 37-yard line. Wilson back again. Now he's looking for Hartley Dykes. Incomplete. Boy, that was good position by Dwayne Woodruff, who had a better chance to catch the ball than Hartley Dykes did. Woodruff might have slammed his wrist down because he got up a little bit slowly on that right wrist.
Well, what Dykes will learn as he goes through the years is that just because you're big and tall, you still got to win at the line of scrimmage. He's got to get a good release off the ball and then make Woodruff believe he's either going to stop short or run straight to the goal line. You'll lose every single foot race with a defensive back because they've got a 7-yard head start. And that's what rookie wide receivers learn, is they get beat enough running those patterns in the NFL.
2nd down 10 for Mark Wilson. John Stevens is the lone back in the backfield now. And Wilson has trouble coming out of there. He tripped, pulling away from center, and loses about 6 or 7 yards on the play back inside the 30-yard line. Mark Wilson couldn't get away from center cleanly and tripped and went down. So Flutie will signal in another play.
Again, a lot of it has to be the turf. It's frozen. It's tough for the spikes to dig into it, and that apparently is what happened. It didn't look like anyone tripped up Mark Wilson. He simply fell back on the bad turf.
He lost 7. It's 3rd down and 17 with 10.5 left to go here in the first half. It's 14-3 Steelers. New England with 3 wide receivers in the game, and they keep 2 backs in the backfield now. Irving Fryer goes in motion. Down the middle, Hartley Dykes slipped and fell just as the ball was coming to him. He was open and the ball was on the money, but Dykes couldn't come up with good traction, and he would have had the first down.
Yeah, again, a smart play by Dykes. He was 2 yards past the first down marker. But, you know, this turf will affect all the games in the NFL this week. I mean, many of the games are here in the East. There are a lot of important contests, and this will mess up an offense as sure as a good defensive play. Tough turf. This stuff is frozen.
Because that ball was right there, and so was Hartley Dykes. Jeff Feagles is into punt. Rod Woodson to return. And in the battle of field position in this game, Pittsburgh is winning that, as once again Feagles is punting deep in his own territory. Unloads a high punt. Woodson from his 31. Boy, got away from a Rod McSwain tackle. And that's Jerry Fury down there too. And Mike Morris. That was Mike Morris, rather, number 64 for New England, who was down there. But somebody got him by the collar and tried to rip him down. And Woodson not too happy about it. 10:05. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. The 5 amigos there in the background. The snowmen here today. Watch this collar by Rod McSwain. Face mask?
You betcha, face mask. I would be upset too if I were Rod Woodson.
Incidentally, it was not called. Out at the 33-yard line, Pittsburgh leads 14-3, and Brister wants it all. Incomplete. Lewis Lips down by the 15-yard line. Fred Marion came over to lend some help there on that play for Maurice Hurst.
Well, they're trying to take advantage of a defense that the Patriots run. Watch the hook and go. Take a look at Lips, number 83. Now, Roland James, number 38, in the middle of your screen's got to get back there. That's what they were relying on. They beat the give and go on the corner, Hurst, but it's Marion, number 31, who comes over to just knock it away. Another fine throw by Bobby Brister, right on the money.
Brister's 3 for 8. Lewis Lips lining up wide now on 2nd and 10. Brister has 81 yards passing. Now he sets Lips in motion. And gives the ball off to Worley. And he's over the 40-yard line. Tim Worley, the rookie out of Georgia, brings it out over the 40-yard line on a good run on 2nd and long.
Remember, Brister's trying to run away from the nose tackle. 72, Tim Goad. That's what he's audibling. Wherever Goad is lined up, Brister runs away from him, and it's working so far. Something else I've noticed, Bobby Brister keeps rolling out. He hands the ball off and rolls out. I wouldn't be surprised if later on today they don't throw the football back to him. Remember, he's an eligible receiver, and he's decided not to use the gloves this afternoon. He told us that he was going to use them to play, but apparently he's changed his mind.
Steelers are 1 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. We're looking at 3rd and 2 right now with Rodney Carter into the game and in motion. Brister, a lot of time again, throws, and Lewis Lips was wide open, and Brister delivered the ball on the wrong side of the field. So Brister and Lips do not hook up on a wide open pass play, and the Steelers must punt.
This time they come back and run that hook that was successful when they ran the hook and go just a play earlier. Going against Rod McSwain, number 23, Lips runs the good pattern, and he's wide open, but Brister read it a bit differently and threw it to the wrong side of the field.
Well, I guess so. And you saw the look of discontent for Lewis Lips. Harry Newsom pounds it away. Irving Fryer runs over in the direction. It hit Carnell Lake of the Steelers and goes out of bounds at the 20-yard line. All right, let's go around the league right now on Sunday number 15 as we check in with those key games in the AFC. Houston could have wrapped up the AFC Central Division. It still can, but they have a long way to go. They have to win that game today. 21-0 the Bengals lead. Still scoreless in Cleveland and Green Bay in a back-and-forth game, and the Packers must keep on winning. They now lead. Miami has up their lead with another field goal. Kansas City on a Lowry field goal leads, and Detroit out in front of Tampa Bay. Bob Galliano has thrown a couple of touchdown passes, and Pittsburgh leads here 14-3 over New England. As we wait for the Patriots to start, they came up to the line of scrimmage. Tom Dooley, our referee, ready to put the Patriots back to work. 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Stevens and Perryman set behind Wilson. Fryer and Hartley Dykes are the wide receivers. And Wilson back on 1st down. And he's looking for Fryer. And Dwayne Woodruff picks it off. He's to midfield. He's got Woodson as a blocker. And still going, and finally knocked out of bounds by Hartley Dykes. Dwayne Woodruff. He's the only Steeler currently on the playing roster that has a Super Bowl ring.
That's right. He played in Super Bowl 14 with the championship team. Take a look at it. Fryer is open down the sideline. Actually, a poor throw by Mark Wilson. And then Woodruff gets on his horse, gets some nice blocks downfield. A 35-yard return by Wayne Woodruff.
Boy, good block by Woodson on Danny Villa. That's the longest interception return for a Steeler this season. And Pittsburgh going for a knockout punch now after the interception. They lead 14-3. And back to work. They go to Worley. 20, 15 to the New England 14.5-yard line, and a 1st down. A 17-yard run for the rookie, who is already well over 50 yards rushing here in the 1st half.
I'll tell you who may be the MVP of the Steeler team. Watch number 33, Merrill Hodge, and the block he creates. Downfield, 33, leading the coverage down there. Good block, kicking out on the corner, and that's really what opened it up downfield.
He put the block on Roland James, and then Worley went after it. But Merrill Hodge, who has a touchdown here today, has been even more impressive with his blocking. Worley checks out now, and Rodney Carter is in. Steelers have Derek Hill and Lewis Lips at the wideouts, and back they go to Hodge, and he's got an opening. Inside the 10 at the 8-yard line, Merrill Hodge skips through, and once again they go to the other side of Tim Goad.
That's the game plan all day. Brister's coming up, finding out where Goad is, and audibling at the line of scrimmage away from him. Look at Goad. He's got short sleeves on. It's -4 or 5 degrees with wind chill. And he's just saying, hey, you know, it's all in your mind whether you're cold or not. But right now it's getting chilly for him because Brister is reading Goad all day.
2nd down and 5 to get a 1st down there at the 8. It's Hodge again down inside the 5. They might give him the 4-yard line. Lawrence McGrew is in on the tackle for New England, along with Roland James. And right now, with Worley out of the lineup, taking a breather, Merrill Hodge has become the bread and butter back for the Steelers. 7.5 remaining here in the 1st half. Chuck Noll and Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, flanks him. The Steelers bring in that big extra blocker now, Craig Wolfley. He's also an eligible receiver, but when we talked to Bubby Brister about it yesterday, he's number 73, Wolfley. I asked him, does he have good hands? He went, nah, he doesn't have good hands. He's a blocker. That's Terrence O'Shea, another tight end in too. Over the top goes Worley, trying to get the 1st down, and the original mark shows that he is short by a couple of inches. What does the crowd want them to do? Listen.
Of course they want him to go, but they'll call for his head tomorrow if they wind up going for it and don't make it.
Jimmy, your class reunion, those guys look like, huh?
All the guys are here from '78 at Penn State.
4th down and 1. And they are going. I'll tell you, Brister's all charged up. He's telling them now, quiet down. That's Wolfley in motion. That's Hodge. Pretty good stick, but he should have the first down.
It's going to be awfully close. I don't think they got the mark, and I'm not sure if they got this or not, Jim.
Boy, New England, who had a great goal line stand last week against Miami early in the game, might have pulled it off again. Patriots defenders are saying, we stopped them, and are heading off the field. But let's wait and see. Ed Reynolds was there, along with the entire middle of the Patriots defense. Brister shaking his head. I don't know if he's saying, Coach, we didn't get it.
No, they didn't get it. I don't believe they did.
All right, here are the sticks out. The measurement right now. Did New England hold them? Yes, they did. I believe they're stretching it out.
Not even close.
You know, they lost yardage there.
They missed it by an entire yard on that fourth down.
So that answers your question. Is this team going to play hard even though they're out of the playoff run?
Good block coming across by Wolfley, but it's Reynolds who takes the play and pushes it back. There's the reaction by Noel. There's no reaction at all, as a matter of fact. Of course, he may be a bit too cold standing on the sideline to react much.
All right, we'll be back to Pittsburgh.
Of course, from here in western Pennsylvania, maybe the best quarterback to play in our era.
After a fine defensive stand by the Patriots, Mark Wilson hands it off to John Stevens, who is tripped up, and I mean tripped up, by Hinkle, the linebacker of the Steelers, and then Stevens drops down to the 5-yard line. Let's go around the NFL. Sunday 15th, Cincinnati 21-0 over Houston as they came out guns loaded today after they lost to Seattle last week. Still no score in Cleveland in that game between the Vikings and Browns. Two good defenses. Green Bay leads by a field goal now, 17-14. Miami holding a 6-point lead in a big game for them. Kansas City must win. They're winning. And Detroit is getting better and better each week. The Steelers must win, and they lead New England 14-3. It's 2nd and 9. Stevens does get a bit of a hole out to the 7-yard line, but he is quickly shut down. A reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. And it's 3rd and 7 for New England. 3rd and 7, Jimmy, deep in your own territory. That's Richard Woods, the quarterback coach. There he is right there. So if he usually gives the play to Flutie to signal in, that means it's pass, which would make sense on 3rd and 6.
Well, that's right. Bobby Greer was on the other side of Flutie, and if they're going to go to a running play, he calls it, and if it's going to be a pass, then it goes over to Richard Wood.
This is really an audition for Mark Wilson late in the season to see if he gets a spot with the Patriots next year. And he hits Eric Sievers, and Sievers brings it over the 20-yard line. First down, Patriots out to the 21, the 22-yard line. Delton Hall brings him down.
And if it doesn't work out that Mark Wilson, if they make the determination that he's not their quarterback of the future, then it's apparent that the Patriots will probably have to go through the trade route or in the draft next year or plan B in the free agency market, because they've gone through their entire roster of NFL quarterbacks, and Steve Grogan really performed well, but they know he can play. He'd be a great backup to anybody, and Flutie, when he had his opportunity, really didn't get the job done. 1st
and 10 after the catch by Sievers, and John Stevens now getting the ball more and more, brings it out to the 24-yard line. Of course, the question mark within the New England organization right now is who will be making the decisions on personnel. Is Dick Steinberg, the head of their player development, player personnel, is he going to leave and take a job with the Jets that would give him really total control of football operations there, or is he going to stay in New England? And if Steinberg leaves, who will New England name to the job? Will it be Joe Mendez, or will they have to go outside? Robert Perryman with the carry now, and Perryman comes up to the 27, and he is brought down there as New England goes back to the running game, and it will be 3rd down and long for them again. Something else that was interesting in Raymond Berry's conversation with us yesterday when he was talking about the difficulty in trying to find an NFL quarterback out of the draft. He said there just aren't that many big league arms coming out of college football these days to invest a #1 draft choice in them. New England on 3rd down and 3. They're 4 for 8 on 3rd down conversions. Wilson connected on their last one when he hit Sievers on that pass. He's got 3 wide receivers in the game right now. Sievers is lined up as a tight end at the top of your screen as Fryer goes in motion. And the catch is made by Cedric Jones, who is really a worn-out wide receiver. Raymond Berry wanted to give him a little rest today and not play him as much because Jones has played a long season, has been beaten up a little bit, but New England gets a first down as we come close to the 2-minute warning.
Take a look at him. He's coming inside. Again, it's that bit of an option route that most of the teams are going to these days. They clear out the middle of the field with the other wide receivers. They let Cedric Jones come underneath, and he pays for it, but he gets enough yardage for the first down.
1st and 10 New England. There's Cedric Jones. Short drop by Wilson. Across the middle, the ball is caught. Out over the 40 to the 43-yard line. Catch is made by Lynn Dawson, the tight end. Boy, Wilson's spreading the ball around a little bit, isn't he? Severs, Dawson, a couple of times to Fryer, to Hartley Dykes. 2 minutes left here in the first half as we come to the 2-minute warning. Mark Wilson will regroup with Raymond Berry, and we'll be back with our closing minutes of the first half with Pittsburgh leading 14-3 here at Three Rivers. 2 minutes remaining here in our first half, and the Steelers lead over the Patriots 14-3. New England has it 2nd down and 1 at their own 43-yard line. Robert Perryman's got a big hole up the middle and just missed going all the way. Rod Woodson had him by the right ankle and brought him down, or Perryman would have been long gone. Clock is running with 1:45 left. New England has 2 timeouts left. They're checking out the snap count. Center Mike Babb turns around to Wilson and asks him what he wants. First down, New England. Wilson fires. It's caught. Once again, it's Severs, and he held on and had the football and then lost it when he went out of bounds, and he goes out short of the 30-yard line at the 31.
And that'll allow the Patriots to regroup. What Wilson will do now, he'll go into the huddle and call 2 plays so they can get right back to the line of scrimmage if they get caught in bounds and go with it without wasting one of their timeouts.
He's having a pretty good half throwing the football, isn't he? 11 for 17. The 1 interception was Woodruff picked off the pass intended for Fryer.
The other thing he's doing is moving well in the pocket. It's something that was a knock on him when he played with the Raiders, but he's showing better movement in his later years.
He's completed 4 in a row. On 2nd down, he throws, and that's almost picked off by Rod Woodson. And for the first time today, Wilson got some pressure, as coming in there was Gerald Williams. Williams, the nose tackle, got in on Mark Wilson.
He wanted Fryer. Fryer tripped on the play, and that's what nearly caused the interception. But for just a moment, he was open, and he had man-to-man coverage. He'd have been into the end zone if he hadn't fallen down.
New England is 5 for 9 on 3rd down conversions. It's 3rd and 2 with 1:23 left.
There's the pressure coming from the inside. Gerald Williams, the nose tackle.
So the crowd now trying to get the Steeler defense to come up with a big play here. They run it, and John Stevens has the first down. Inside the 30, they'll mark him down at about the 28-yard line. He needed to get to the 29, and with 1:13 and the clock still running, New England will get the first down, and they'll also get right up to the line of scrimmage. Boy, they're holding on to those timeouts,
yeah,
aren't they?
I mean, you can't carry them over to the second half, guys. They're just going to go to the 1-minute mark now without calling. They still have 2 remaining.
So Wilson back again on first down. Ooh, in traffic, he connects. Irving Fryer is inside the 20-yard line. I mean, there were 3 Steelers around the play. Everett was in there, and we have a Steeler shaken up on the turf as time is called out with 47 seconds left. That's Woodson down, injured. And they're calling for some help. And we'll be back. 47 seconds left here in the first half. Steelers lead 14-3, but the Patriots are driving.
Take a look at the middle of the screen. This is when the injury occurred to Woodson. The collision with Irving Fryer coming across the middle. It looks like one of his legs gets caught up, his right knee underneath. But he walked off under his own power and seems to be fine on the sideline. Now, the timeout was charged to the Steelers because of the injury. That means that New England has 2 timeouts remaining.
So Mark Wilson explaining it in the offensive huddle. They'll come out 1st and 10 at the Pittsburgh 18. There's Woodson on the sideline. Appears to be okay. They give it to John Stevens. He's sweeping to the outside. Interesting call, Jimmy. He doesn't get out of bounds, and they'll have to use a timeout now, I would think. Are they going to run right up again? Clock is still running.
This doesn't make much sense. They've got 2 timeouts remaining. They're now down to 29 seconds.
Wilson has them right up to the line of scrimmage. 25 seconds left now. Looks, fires, incomplete for Stevens. So they run Stevens, then they throw incomplete to Stevens with 20 seconds left And New England is inside the Pittsburgh 20-yard line, just barely, at about the 19, and they are 3rd and 12.
Well, the running play was, I mean, that's fine. It's not a bad call. You catch the Steelers a little unaware. You still have the 2 timeouts remaining. But when Stevens didn't have anything on the corner, he's got to get out of bounds, not get tackled 3 yards from the marker.
Raymond Berry is in the red jacket behind Richard Wood, the quarterback coach. Shotgun formation for New England. 4 wideouts in the game. Severs is now a wide receiver, not a tight end. They throw, incomplete. Wilson was throwing for Fryer. It looks like there was a mix-up in the pattern because Rod Woodson ended up really alone and almost looked like the intended receiver on the pass play. And they'll call on Jason Starofsky now to try and kick his 2nd field goal of the game. He's 1 for 1. He hit from 20 yards out with 15 seconds left to go here in the quarter. And they have stalled again now after they were driving smoothly down into Pittsburgh territory. Can't punch it in today. The hold, the 37-yard field goal on its way, and it is wide right. No good. And that really hurts to get down there and come away with no points.
Wilson played well in that stretch, moving the team down the field, but Starofsky doesn't come through for him. Take a look at it. Pushed it over to the right. There's not much wind today. With these kind of weather conditions, you would expect it to be a blustery afternoon, but there's not much of a wind. And really no reason for Starofsky to miss the field goal.
11 seconds left to go here in the first half, and Pittsburgh leading 14-3. Starofsky was 12 for 14 before missing that kick. Now 12 for 15, and here come the Steelers out.
He's really performed well, Starofsky, since they picked him up a couple of weeks ago.
Greg Davis started the season for them, but was missing extra points. Brister rolling around. Whoa, dangerous play with 4 seconds left to go in the half. I mean, he was throwing that thing up for grabs. Plus, he's already got a bad knee anyways. You see him get up a little gingerly walking around.
Well, he was banged around last week against the Jets. He missed a few weeks because of the knee. Then last week took a real tough hit and had a concussion, a mild concussion. But as we said, he moves extremely well. That looked like grasp and control. Lawrence McGrew, number 50, was the linebacker who was draped all over Bubby Brister.
New England's starting to get a little pressure now on Brister. They line up in a formation that will protect Brister and the ball and run out the first half. And that's it here in Pittsburgh. Bubby Brister and the Steelers lead 14-3. Tim Worley, an 8-yard touchdown run. Merrill Hodge, a 1-yard touchdown run. A touchdown in the first quarter, a touchdown in the second for the Steelers. New England has a Jason Starofsky field goal, and that's it. Tim Worley has a big first half running the football, and the Steelers trying to keep playoff hopes alive are doing that at least through the first half here on their final home game of the regular season. NFL Live halftime activities continue after this.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Nissan, built for the human race. Stay tuned for NFL Live after these messages from your local station.
Welcome those of you watching the Pittsburgh game, and the Steelers still have a slim playoff hope, but just about everything has to break their way. They got to win their last 2 today, and then next week against Tampa Bay, and just about all the other contenders have to lose, but Pittsburgh closing the season in impressive fashion. Meanwhile, the Houston Oilers, who had won 5 out of 6, come into Riverfront. Still plenty of time left in the first half, but they're losing 28-0 to the Bengals.
This Houston team is real hard to figure. Winning 5 out of 6. The one game they've lost is to Kansas City. That was a 34-0 job. They're being waxed today by the Bengals, 28-0. I think they are relying a little too much on the aura of the House of Pain. They have to play Cleveland there next week. Of course, if they win that game, they would still win the division.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights, all lowlights from the Oilers' perspective today at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Game time temperature about 15 for Santa, Rudolph, and all of the helpers. Looking on as Boomer Sam and company do fumble. It's Esiason to the air for Eddie Brown. One of 2 touchdown passes that Brown has caught in the first half, and one of 3 thrown by Esiason. Here's James Brooks on the handoff, sweeping left, and he'll tumble into the end zone for a 14-yard touchdown. Later, Rodney Holman latched onto a 50-yarder from Esiason. This one's the second Eddie Brown touchdown reception. It covers 36 yards. Takes it as he backpedals. They lead 28-0. Houston has 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and an interception. David Fulcher has recovered one of the fumbles, and he has the INT. And just moments ago, Mike Rozier at the 1-yard line of Cincinnati fumbled into the end zone, and the Bengals recovered. So that was a good scoring chance for Houston, but nothing is going their way. Rich Karlis just kicked a 44-yard field goal for Minnesota, and the Vikings are in front of Cleveland. A defensive struggle, 10 degrees in Cleveland, 3-0 the score there. Green Bay at Chicago, and the Magic Man, Don Majkowski, is back on the beam after the Chiefs shackled him a week ago. Majkowski has thrown for a touchdown, run 17 yards for another. Keith Woodside has a 68-yard scoring run. The Bears' deficit is not Neil Anderson's fault. He's caught a touchdown pass, and he's carried 5 times for 87 yards as he closes in on a 100-yard game. Indianapolis just took the lead at home on Miami. Miami had the lead early, but then Jack Trudeau threw a 6-yard scoring pass to Andre Rison, and then after a blocked punt, he flipped a 1-yarder to Mark Boyer. Scott Schwades has a 70-yard punt return for a Miami score. The game has now gone to halftime at the Hoosier Dome. If Miami wins their last 2, they're in the playoffs as at least a wild card. Kansas City holding out wild card hopes. They've won 3 in a row, and they're 4-1-1 since midseason on a pair of Nick Lowry field goals. And with the help of 3 San Diego turnovers, they lead at home at Arrowhead 6-0 late in the second quarter. In the game you're watching, Pittsburgh with the lead at home over New England. 14-3 is the score as the Steelers look to go to 8-7 with 1 week left in the regular season. And Detroit has won 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5, and they're closing the season with a rush. They have a 24-0 halftime lead at home over Tampa Bay. Barry Sanders has scored a touchdown, already rushed for better than 80 yards, and Bob Galliano has thrown a pair of touchdown passes, including a 55-yarder to Jason Phillips. Not out of the question that the Lions could finish ahead of the Bears in the NFC Central. We step aside now for a moment and then come back with a look at the great year Joe Montana is having for San Francisco after this from your local station.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh, Three River Stadium at halftime. The Steelers lead the New England Patriots 14-3. Our Coors game summary, first half statistics, there they are.
And really not a lot of surprise. Total yards very close along the board. Just the 1 turnover, that the interception by Woodruff in the second quarter. Time of possession, a big edge to the Patriots, but that doesn't translate into points on the board. They're down by 11 points.
New England's been close twice trying to get touchdowns, but they haven't been able to get the ball in. They settle for 1 field goal and miss another. And Pittsburgh's running game has been the big key, especially the rookie Tim Worley as he gets their first touchdown.
That's right, an 8-yard run by Worley. Watch the trap coming from the backside of the Steeler offensive line. A couple of good blocks in the middle, and Worley gets over in his second touchdown in the last 2 weeks. He had a long string of 10 weeks without a touchdown run. And then it's Merrill Hodge coming right up the gut. Another good blocking performance by the Steeler offensive line. Terry Long, number 74, gets it done. And then, as I mentioned, the big interception by Woodruff taking away Mark Wilson down the sideline. Really a poor throw. He was trying to reach Irving Fryer down the sideline, had a bit of a step. But it's Woodruff with the big interception on the afternoon. He returns at 35 yards and turns away Mark Wilson once again. A couple of drives turned away. That was Woodruff's 34th career interception in 10 years.
Now, New England came up with a great defensive stand late in the first half, too, or in the second quarter, as the Steelers went for it on 4th down and inches inside the Patriot 5-yard line, and New England stuck him. Ed Reynolds coming up with the big play, or this thing really could be out of hand at 21-3.
And that was a bit uncharacteristic. When you think of Chuck Noll, you think of a conservative offensive philosophy. It was about 4th and a yard to go. He decides to go at the crowd chanting to go for it, and instead of taking a 2-touchdown lead with a sure chip field goal, right now it's just an 11-point lead for the Steelers.
Second half underway. Gary Anderson kicks it away, and Patrick Egu has it hit off his hand right at the goal line, then go through the back of the end zone. And it's a touchback, and New England will start at their own 20-yard line. Mark Wilson has thrown pretty well so far in the first half, but when they've needed the big play, they have not been able to come up with the pass that would get them into the end zone. There's the numbers: 12 for 21, 113 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception, as you saw the Woodruff pickoff. Now, New England has lost an offensive lineman. Paul Fairchild is out injured, so David Douglas A Plan B free agent from Cincinnati is in at that left guard spot. First possession, second half. 14-3 Steelers with Robert Perryman out of the lineup right now. No, now he's in there and he gets the handoff. Perryman makes the carry out over the 20 to the 22-yard line. Tackled by the nose tackle, Gerald Williams.
By Gerald Williams.
Steelers need a win today to keep any playoff hopes alive. Plus another factor, Jimmy, they have never had a sub-500 season at home in the history of Three River Stadium. And right now they're 3-4, so they need a win today to go 500.
That's right, but this team, when you look at the first two games of the season when they were badly outscored, lost their first two contests, Chuck Noll really deserves a lot of credit for turning this team around, not getting down on them. He kept their confidence up. And Bobby Brister said they could win 8 or 9 games this year, and he's right on target.
Good run by John Stevens as he gets a hole out near the 29-yard line. They'll be short of the first down. Greg Lloyd figures in on the tackle. Stevens going down and picking up something off the turf. A hand warmer, I believe. Not only do they have those pouches, and you see him keeping his hands warm, but there's one of those packets that they scrunch up, and some kind of heat comes off of it, and it keeps the hands warm. There you see Mark Wilson has one, too. So it's 3rd down and 1 for New England. A little bit more than 1, too. Almost closer to 2 yards. Patriots are 6 for 11 on 3rd down conversions. They must get to the 30. And they will. Hartley Dykes with a stiff arm on Dwayne Woodruff makes the catch, and he picks up 6 or 7 after he makes the grab as he goes out to the 35-yard line to the 37 and out of bounds.
Here's a nice call. You know, Hartley Dykes standing right at the line of scrimmage. You just need about 1.5 yards. And unless the quarterback is right over him, right on his face, he's assured of getting this thing off. Gets a nice block from the receiver on the inside. The good stiff arm.
Boy, it looked like a face mask the other way.
Well, you know, the receiver's got to use every weapon he has.
New England's gotten away with 2 of them. Remember, McSwain grabbed the face mask of Woodson on a punt return, and Hartley Dykes just stuck his fist right up into the face mask of Woodruff. It's a first down, New England. At the 37. Wilson fires, and Hartley Dykes is open again.
Wilson's pass.
It is amazing watching the difference in Hartley Dykes now from the receiver we saw back a few weeks ago early in the season when we saw him against Houston the first time.
Early in the season, he was out of shape. He was running undisciplined routes. Here, take a look at him. Knows where the marker is, gets right close to it on a first down situation, and has 5 catches already on the afternoon.
He's caught 5 touchdown passes this year. With the 5 catches today, now he has 36. But early in the season, he was invisible. And now he's really the main guy that they throw to. 2nd down and 2 as he got 8 on first down. Fryer in motion. Perryman bangs right up the middle, and he'll have a first down. Out to the 49-yard line. They might give him midfield. He runs into the arms of Gerald Williams, the nose tackle, as they ran right at Gerald Williams.
Hartley Dykes really got the opportunity when Stanley Morgan went out with another injury.
He broke his leg in practice.
That's right.
That's the kind of season it's been for the Patriots.
And then just a little while later, Michael Timpson, a 4th-round draft choice wide receiver for them, went out with another injury during practice, simply running a pattern. So it's been that kind of a day, but people like Hartley Dykes have stepped up, and while the Patriots are out of it for this year, they have a lot of promise for the future if this man can deliver for them.
It's 1st and 10 New England as Perryman goes out in motion. A lot of time for Wilson. A penalty flag goes down. They throw it right in the vicinity of Gerald Williams. We'll wait and see on the call. Did someone hold Williams, or was he involved in the infraction? Holding New England. They held Williams instead. He was complaining, Gerald Williams, the nose tackle, 98 of the Steelers, and Pittsburgh says mark it off against New England.
Illegal use of hands, number 68 offense.
Mike Babb, the center.
Take a look at the middle of your screen. 68, the center, Mike Babb. Oh yeah, he gets his arm caught underneath. And really the shame about that is they were only rushing 3 people. He did not need to hold him to keep him out of there. And Mike Babb gets caught with it nonetheless.
Boy, New England does not get penalized much. They were the lowest in the league coming into this game.
They only had 57 penalties in the NFL. That was the lowest by far in the league.
At the 39-yard line now, you're looking at 1st and 20 after the 10-yard penalty. Osalski blitzing from the outside. Wilson's got to get out of there, and he goes down on the sack. Tim Johnson, the right defensive end, ends up on top of Wilson. But they had good pressure from both corners coming in. Osalski, the outside linebacker, number 92, was coming from the left.
One of the odd times that they decide to send more than 3 people. Usually the Steelers are content, especially on first down situations, to just rush the 3 up linemen. But that time they get the good pressure with the zone coverage behind the rush in front and come down with Wilson.
He only loses a yard on the sack as the play comes in. There's the offensive committee, I guess you call it, on that Patriots sideline. Second down and 21. From the Patriot 38-yard line, they trail 14-3. Long time getting this play off. They're down to 10 on the play clock with 4 wide receivers in. Wilson out of the backfield to Stevens, and boy, if he makes that catch, Jimmy, he's got wide open territory up the sideline. He was long gone.
Gerald Williams, number 91, had the man-to-man coverage against Stevens, but he breaks a tackle, and that may be a touchdown. He had it all the way down the sideline. Take a look at it. You see Williams, number 91, middle of your screen, trying to make the coverage, and it's man-to-man. He should catch that football. I mean, you know, when you're running across the middle, the danger as a running back or a receiver is, you know, somebody's going to be standing at the other end ready to knock your clock. But no one was there, and Stevens really should have come up with the catch.
There's Mean Joe Green on the sideline, Steeler defensive coach. 7 for 12 on third down conversions for New England. Third down and 21. Stepping up, firing. Good defensive play. Delton Hall comes in to knock the ball away from Cedric Jones, and New England must punt.
Wilson had a little bit of trouble stepping up to try and deliver the football. Cedric Jones was open for just a second, but watch the closing ability of Delton Hall, number 35. You see the ball hangs in the air, and actually Cedric Jones has got to come back toward the football to make that catch happen.
Delton Hall over to the sideline covering up as it gets colder and colder now here at Three Rivers Stadium. Rod Woodson returning. 17 yards on that punt return on his longest of the day. Set up a Steeler touchdown after that. Fiegel's punt dies at the 35. Woodson gathers it, trying to get to the outside. Breaks about 4 or 5 tackles and still didn't go down, and now finally lunges forward to the 34. A 36-yard punt by Fiegel's, and Rod Woodson is brought down by the linebacker Bruce Schultz. 11:06 to go, third quarter here in Pittsburgh. Back in Pittsburgh, boy, you love your Steelers if you're in the stands today. They lead 14-3. Icy cold weather here at Three River Stadium. 8 inches of snow on Friday, and then the cold weather blew in yesterday. Bubby Brister and his Steelers with 2 running touchdowns in the first half lead over the Patriots here in the third quarter. Their first possession. Tim Worley's in trouble, big trouble, and down he goes. The Patriots' David Ward comes in and makes the tackle, and there were a lot of Patriots around Worley that time as 94 ends up making the stop.
Well, again, they're going away from the nose tackle. This time Goat is right on the nose, but the penetration, the great penetration of the linebacker coming inside, and that really threw off the trap. That's the problem right now for the Steeler offensive line. They've been trapping extremely well, but not on that play. They beat him across the line of scrimmage.
And they lose 4 yards. Second down and 14. Brister back quickly. Throws. Malarkey, the tight end. To the 42. Short of a first down. Mike Malarkey's first catch on the day. The former Minnesota Viking has found a home here in Pittsburgh and has had a pretty good year as the Steelers try and get the tight end back in their offense a little bit.
He's 12 yards.
Third down.
And
2 yards to go for a Pittsburgh first down. 2 tight ends in now, along with Craig Wolfley, that extra offensive lineman. Malarkey and Terry O'Shea, and the official Tom Dooley telling the crowd right now that 73 Wolfley has checked in and is an eligible receiver. 9:45, third quarter, that's what's left. 3rd and 2. That's O'Shea in motion. Merrill Hodge. Well, let's see if he got it. Once again, New England comes up and makes a good hit. Schultz, and Lawrence McGrew on the stop for the Patriots.
This is going to be awfully close again, but they have...
Well, if they don't get it, they're punting this football out of here. The crowd can yell, go, go, go as long as they want, and he'll say, yeah, send the punter in. It's going to be a measurement right now. And Brister doesn't like the spot. See him shaking his head? He's saying, we didn't get it. What's the problem there, Jimmy? They don't come up with, short yardage. They really don't come up with the yards.
They've been having their problems along the offensive line, and they do get enough for the first down on this occasion. But they've had some injuries. They had Tom Ricketts, their #1 choice out of Pittsburgh, as a starter early in the season. He's been replaced by John Jackson. But as you can see, they get the good block on the initial line of scrimmage, but doesn't go very far. It's McGrew, number 50, who comes up to make the big hit. Look at Claiborne, number 26, moving down the line of scrimmage. And
oh, he gets into it there with Terry O'Shea, the tight end.
It's not even a misdemeanor in the NFL. That's all right.
1st and 10, Brister rolling out, and he is brought down. Lawrence McGrew was not taking the bait on that one. That was a bootleg for Brister.
Once again, it's McGrew. That's the 3rd big play he's made in key situations for him. If he gets outside, Brister's got a corner to go to, but it's McGrew who doesn't take the fake and throws Brister for the big loss. Take a look at it. The flow going to the left. McGrew's job is to stay at home, make sure nothing comes back the other side, and sure enough, he catches Brister.
2nd down at 16. They lose 6 on the play thanks to that man, McGrew, nailing that guy, Brister. Hodge and Worley in the backfield. The ball is back to the 38. Brister in trouble. And he finally will go down. Tim Goad got him and then pushed him right over the body of Lawrence McGrew, and Brister is sacked as the Patriots are putting a good defensive stand here and pushing the Steelers back. Boy, that's a lot. Brister's gone down 43 times.
And he's a quarterback who can, as we take a look at the scores, look at that Cincinnati score, 31-0.
Rich Carlos has given the Vikings. That came with 47 seconds left in the first half on that field goal to give them a 3-0 lead over Cleveland, Indianapolis, Kansas City, and Detroit. Your other leaders.
As I was saying, Brister has good mobility, and for a quarterback to be sacked 43 times with his mobility is a real shot.
Flag is down, and Brister does not get a free play. With 8:07 left to go, Bubby not happy with the way the turn of events have gone here on this series, their first possession of the second half. First of all, he didn't think they had the first down on the measurement. Now they get a penalty, and it will be 3rd down and 29. So now you are seeing some of the reasons why the Steelers are ranked so low offensively. They're unplugging themselves on a lot of plays.
Well, they've started to get their running attack untracked. That's been part of it. Brister has been fine since coming back from the injury. He really was great before the injury, but now he's starting to find the groove again.
3rd and 29. Pump fakes. They got a screen set up. And right away, Maurice Hurst comes in. It's picked up by Kenneth Sims. He goes into the end zone just in case. But they're going to rule the play dead at the 21-yard line. Boy, nice play by the rookie Maurice Hurst as Rodney Carter was drilled by Hurst after he made the catch. And there's Carter still down on the turf. I'll tell you what, my hat's off to the way New England has played today defensively. They are attending to Rodney Carter down on the turf at the 20-yard line. New England with a good defensive stand. It's the left knee of Rodney Carter that is injured after he made the catch on the attempted screen pass, and when you take a look at it, you'll see the injury.
Maurice Hurst, the quarterback, comes up from his position on the end, and take a look at it. He gets his left knee turned underneath. A nice clean hit by Maurice Hurst, just the luck of the draw for Rodney Carter, and he's helped from the field.
Carter over to the Steeler bench now. Harry Newsome checks in. He'll punt for the Steelers. 3 on the day. The first one, though, that he will punt from deep in his own territory, and Irving Fryer is back deep. The last time Fryer returned punts was earlier this season against Houston. He got injured in that game on a punt return. Newsome bangs this one. Fryer, he's not going to call a fair catch. He gets away from Dwight Stone. And a good job by Fryer rolling the dice as he had Dwight Stone right on him. He shook that tackle and goes out to the 49-yard line. It's a 45-yard punt and a 15-yard return by Irving Fryer. Now, let's plug in the scores on Sunday number 15. Houston could have wrapped up the Central Division if they won. They're not going to do it today. 31-0 over Cincinnati. Going right out on the limb there, Jimmy, at halftime.
Another rough day for Bernie Kosar, it appears, at least from the score.
Yeah,
3-0 at half.
Yep. Miami now behind in a game they desperately need to. Kansas City leading, and Detroit winning big over Tampa Bay. New England has not punched a touchdown in yet. You get the feeling if they could score here and get right back into this football game, they would pick up some momentum because their defense has been playing very good football against the Steelers. Rodney Carter's sprained knee. Doesn't look like he's going to come back, though. But it's good to see him up and walking around because that looked bad when the injury happened. Second half of the doubleheader for most of you on these NBC stations. You'll see Buffalo and San Francisco. The 49ers, the best in the NFL right now, against the Bills, who are 8-6 and trying to win the AFC East. Second down and 8 for New England. Mark Wilson straight back. Incomplete. Up in the air for grabs, but it fell down to the ground. Hartley Dykes was the intended receiver at the 35-yard line.
Wilson had quite a bit of time, but he actually throws behind Hartley Dykes. He had him open for just a second. More time than he needed to throw the football. Take a look at a little turn-in pattern. The zone coverage behind it. An open Hartley Dykes.
Not a good throw.
No, Wilson missed him. Threw it behind him.
Wilson's 14 for 26 with one interception, 130 yards. Now he's got third down and 8. Keeps two backs in there with him, and then Perryman heads out. He's got room to run and should get a first down. Boy, he was looking at that first down marker all the way up the field. Good job by Wilson. He's got a first down at the Pittsburgh 40.
Now, the Wilson that I remember playing for the Raiders was a guy who was just a statue back there. He has not showed it so far this year. He's moved around well. The Steelers come on the blitz. They send 5 people. Unusual for them. But look at the movement by Wilson. He takes 2 big hits and still gets enough for a first down.
He had his helmet rearranged and then took one from the backside, too. And we have an official's timeout on the field right now. The ball is at the 40-yard line. First and 10 for the Patriots with 5:55 left here in the third quarter.
Wilson was a bit surprised when
he's got a broken helmet from that hit.
Well, they can fix those. They put a nail in it and send it back in. Wilson, when he came to the Patriots, was obviously surprised when they decided to keep 4 quarterbacks, but he was still afraid. He thought an injury anywhere on the field for another position would mean his job. So he waited till the 3rd week in the season to move his family out from Seattle to Boston.
He said he didn't know if he should bring them out. Then all the assistant coaches kept saying, "Is your family in town yet?" He kept saying no, and then he took that to mean that maybe you should bring them out. All right, Wilson on first and 10 after he scrambled for that first down. They're at the Pittsburgh 40 as Perryman will take the ball. Dives right, puts the ball on the carpet, but I think he was down, and the play was dead at the 38-yard line. David Little is in on the tackle for the Steelers. And New England, once again, just methodically moves up the field. Still looking for a big play, though.
The time of possession was almost 2-1 in the first half in favor of the Patriots, but that does not translate into points. Now, whose helmet does he have on?
He has Eric Seaver's helmet, because I believe that's number 85. Yep, 85 on the back of the helmet. So while they attempt to fix his helmet over on the sideline, Eric Seavers gave him his helmet. Stevens running, and for the first time he's got running room too. Inside the 35, out of bounds at the Steeler 32-yard line, short of a first down by about 2 yards.
Now Wilson goes back and trades his helmet again. I was wondering what Seavers was going to do if he had to come into the football game. There he is. He's got it back. They put the nail in it, and he's all set to go.
Third down now for New England, 3rd and 2 with 4:58 left in the third quarter. Look at that. New England dominating number of plays. 20 more plays than Pittsburgh has run. All right, big play now for them. 3rd down and 2. Perryman fumbles. Then Lake can't pick it up. It's still loose. Steelers trying to pick up the disastrous third down play for the New England Patriots. A mess up on a handoff.
They missed a handoff because of a slip. Actually, Perriman slipped as he was trying to take the football. Then it's a little bit of fumble-rooski. Stevens actually thought he could pick it up and try to still make the first down, but wasn't to be, and it's Lloyd who comes up with the football.
Now, Jimmy, on this situation, don't you just fall on it?
Well, yeah, I guess you do. But
I mean, right there, Lake is trying to go. He's got touchdown ambitions, but right there, don't you just fall?
I think at that stage you do, because if the Patriots come up with the football, they'd have it back about the 39 or 40-yard line. They still have the option to kick it into the end zone or try to get it out of bounds and pin the Steelers back. Here's
the reverse, the first time today, and it's well blocked. It's Lips. It's Lips. Cut back. It's Lips down to the 5. Touchdown. What a run.
Take a look at the blocks downfield. Brister gets a great block up in front. This is the longest run in Louis Lips' career. A good block from the other receiver, Derek Hill, 82 downfield. Lips does the rest, and the score for the Steelers.
A fantastic run by Louis Lips. Anderson's point after is good, and what a turnaround. New England fumbles on 3rd and 2. Pittsburgh takes one play. And Lips takes it 58 yards on a reverse for a touchdown, Steelers. Welcome back to Pittsburgh, everybody. Jim Donovan along with Jimmy Cephalo. Three River Stadium heats up in a hurry after a 58-yard touchdown run on a reverse by Louis Lips. And Gary Anderson will kick it away to the New England Patriots. George Wansley and Patrick Egu are back deep. Line drive kick. Egu juggles it. At the 2, at the 1, he went over and back, so he's got to come out to the 6. Oh, boy, down to the 5-yard line. Larry Griffin is down on the tackle for the Steelers. Let's go back to the reverse now. Louis Lips, 58-yard touchdown run, and here it is.
Bubby Brister with a great block on it. They get everybody moving to the left. Now watch Brister with the great cut block downfield. A nice block again. Going through, that's Dermonte Dawson, number 63. Derek Hill does the rest downfield, and Lips gets into the end zone.
Boy, that's really wanting it, the last 10 yards. Look at where New England starts, at their own 5-yard line. 1st and 10. They fumbled on their last possession. It was recovered by Greg Lloyd, and then Lips went 58 yards. On the reverse, across the middle, a nice pattern, and Irving Fryer makes the catch and goes out over the 15 to the 17-yard line on a first down, and Wilson really squeezed it in there.
I tell you, you'll find out more about the New England Patriots on this drive than you will the entire year. When you're down 21-3, when it's -5 degrees, when you're out of the playoff picture, you're down deep in your own end zone, they come up with this kind of a play. It tells you a lot about their character.
Wilson coming near sideline. This time Hartley Dykes makes the catch. Out to the 31-yard line. And that will be another New England first down. So Wilson with the quick strikes now, moving up the field, almost run and shoot of their own version as he goes far side to Fryer and this time near side to Dykes. And from their own 5 where they started, now they're out near their own 31.
Well, the reason they went to that quick offense this early in the game, one, because they're down by 18, but also to try and keep the extra defensive backs off the field for the Steelers.
1st and 10 New England. We have 3:53 left here in the 3rd quarter. Wilson fires again on the money, and it's Irving Fryer. And Fryer is up at the 38-yard line. Brought down on the play by Rod Woodson, and Delton Hall was over on the coverage too. They are 3 yards shy of a first down. It will be 2nd down at 3 after a pass play of 7 yards.
7 yards, 2nd down.
Richard Wood, the quarterback coach. Doug Flutie off to his side. Wilson out of the shotgun, fires in traffic. Is it caught by Lynn Dawson?
It looks that way.
It was banged around, and it looked like it was intended for Irving Fryer, but on a carom, it ends up in the hands of Lynn Dawson. And Fryer saying, hey, I gave you an assist on that one.
Three people had a shot at this. Take a look at it. It looks like it's going to be an interception right off the bat. Good close coverage. Is that Woodson who comes underneath?
Ooh, nice
sure
catch
is.
off the turf.
Great catch off the turf.
Across the middle again. Oh, what a hit on Cedric Jones, and he hangs on to the football. The Steelers are saying no, he didn't, as Thomas Everett, who knocked out Al Toon last week at the Meadowlands against the Jets, lays a big hit on Cedric Jones, who goes down, and now they're bringing the ball back to the line of scrimmage. They say he did not have control of it.
That's quite a hit. It seemed the ball popped out as he came close to the ground there, but that's, again, we're talking about the character of this team. If they're going to lay down, this is the time to lay down. It's cold out there. You're down by 18. Why not? But they're showing a lot of heart. So is that man, Thomas Everett. What a hit.
Everett weighs 180 pounds, but he delivered a big hit there. Whistles and flags on this play as Wilson trying to hand the ball off to John Stevens. Here's Tom Dooley. Delay of game. So that will make it 2nd down and 15.
Thomas Everett won the Jim Thorpe Award back in 1987. And when you take a look at the potential of the Steeler team, they had the man who was voted the best defensive back in college football that year, and the runner-up. That was Rod Woodson from Purdue. That bodes well for the future of this defensive secondary.
Yeah, they have assembled a pretty good secondary now here in Pittsburgh. They have 5 defensive backs in that secondary right now. Wilson on 2nd and 15. Oh, Fryer stretches out and makes a nice catch into Steeler territory up near the 45-yard line as Irving Fryer, who's been injured after he finally did report through much of the season, is having a pretty good day here in Pittsburgh. The former Nebraska Cornhusker checking with the sideline right now on the signals. 4 wide receivers in. 3rd down and 1 as they hurry up on the offense, and John Stevens legs for a 1st down to the 41. New England wasting no time right now. They're down by 18 points. They're going to need what's left here in the 3rd quarter and then all of the 4th quarter to try and get back in this thing.
They're also trying to keep the specialists off the field for the Steelers. They have a nickel package, which means they have 5 defensive backs, and a dime, which means 6 defensive backs. And the quicker the Patriots can get up to the ball and snap it, it's less time for the Steelers to get those specialists on the field.
Gerald Williams is down on the field right now for the Steelers. He's down injured, and we'll be back to Pittsburgh with 2:04 left to go in the 3rd quarter. In the AFC Eastern Division, they are tied with Miami coming into the game. Look at the Steelers jump off. They didn't get back, so it's a free one for Wilson, and it is picked off by Larry Griffin. But I think it's going to all go for naught. Steelers jumped off on the defensive front.
Wilson gambled throwing it into coverage, so you hope he guessed right on the penalty call.
First down.
Well, it was 3 of them that went off, so it becomes offside defense. Watch them all jump. Tim Johnson, 78. As he tried to squeeze the ball into Hartley Dykes. You know, in time of possession today, New England's had the ball 28 minutes, 20 seconds. Pittsburgh's had it 14:40. Time management, better use of time, obviously goes to the Steelers today. 1st and 5 from the 36 of Pittsburgh. Wilson down for Hartley Dykes. Incomplete. Dykes simply wasn't open as Dwayne Woodruff was right there with him. Now let's check the scores. There have been some changes now. Cincinnati still leading, but Cleveland on a Bernie Kosar touchdown pass to Ron Middleton, this tight end, leads Minnesota in a game they need. Green Bay and Chicago in a back-and-forth game that the Packers need to win to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Detroit blowing out Tampa Bay. Kansas City leading over San Diego. And Miami dearly needs that one in Indianapolis. And now losing it, Eric Dickerson's touchdown has opened up a lead of 8 points for the Colts. 21-3. Pittsburgh must win to keep any hopes alive themselves. It's a reversed Irving Fryer. Puts his head down and climbs inside the 35 down to the 32-yard line. Dwayne Woodruff is in on the tackle for the Steelers. And it will be 3rd down at short yardage for New England. 3rd and 1 coming up.
The Patriots also needed a big game out of Irving Fryer. You know, for most of the year, out because of the holdout at the beginning of the year. Various injuries kept him out of the lineup. And we keep saying what great special people they have on the wide receiver positions, but Fryer has not been in the mix all season long. And going into next year, they had to find out about him.
3rd down and 1. Perryman is tripped up. I don't think he got it. Tim Johnson blew in, number 78 for the Steelers. But there's a flag down in the play. Now you have to wonder, did the Steelers line up offside in the neutral zone? I mean, Johnson was in so quickly.
Flag on the play.
Tom Dooley.
No flag.
Oh, he
It's
just...
fell out of his pocket.
Okay.
What the?
On a day like today, anything's possible. The Patriots have got to go. On 4th down, it's obvious. Down 18 points. Out of the playoff picture. He's got to go for it on the 4th down situation. Look at the play from the inside. That's Tim Johnson, who beats Sean Farrell across the line of scrimmage.
They actually lost a yard. It's 4th and 2. Perryman dives. Boy, I'll tell you, very close. Larry Griffin came in and put his helmet right on Perryman.
But he didn't get the mark, and that'll go over.
The Steeler defense holds New England on 4th down and 2. They try and run it to Perryman. And that will wind down pretty close to it. The third quarter with 4 seconds left. Well, you can have time of possession all you want. You can have great 3rd down conversions all you want, but you need points, and they just don't seem to get the big plays.
Now, once again, it's their 3rd and 4th down conversions have been bad all year long. And it's the Steeler defense who, regardless of time of possession, it's the Steelers who are controlling the football game.
Brister. Look at Worley go. Into the New England secondary, out over the 40 to the 42-yard line as the 3rd quarter comes to an end here in Pittsburgh. And the Steelers staying alive in the AFC playoff hunt for a wild card spot. As we start the 4th quarter, these are the playoff possibilities for the Steelers. They have to win both games today, and they're winning that one in Tampa Bay next week. Cincinnati and Cleveland have to lose one game, but both are winning today. Buffalo needs to win the East. But if Buffalo, Miami, Kansas City, and the Raiders all win today, the Steelers would be eliminated, even if they won today. And they lead 21-3 as we start the 4th quarter. I'm Jim Donovan and Jimmy Cephalo from Pittsburgh. Tim Worley, who had 74 yards rushing so far,
Worley
adds to that with a couple of extra yards. He's over the 45 out to the 46-yard line as Kenneth Sims and Roland James run him out. 79 yards rushing on the day. He had a great touchdown run earlier of 8 yards. He had a great touchdown run last week, though, against the Jets, where he weaved all over the field.
4 yards, 2nd down and 6.
You know, it's tough. We were talking in the commercial break. How do the Patriots come back and practice this coming week? Raymond Berry, in our conversation with him yesterday, was very emotional for Raymond Berry, I thought, in saying that this team had more character than any team he's ever been associated with in all of his years, player or coach.
Worley looking. A nice one-on-one tackle there by the Patriots' Roland James, because Worley was throwing him all kinds of shoulder and head fakes, and James didn't buy it. So it will be 3rd down for the Steelers. Earlier in the week, Raymond Berry met with his team
3rd down.
and had a long talk with them about winning these final 2 games. He told us last night it's hard to play. The biggest test for a team mentally is to play championship football when there's no championship to be won. And that sums up the Patriots situation right now. There's no playoffs for them in this season anyway, and yet they've got 2 games to play, now 1 1/4.
He also said to them, though, there's only one way to play this game, and that's all out, regardless of what the prize is at the end of the year.
Brister lines up in the shotgun and has to call a timeout, as the play clock was down to 1. So there was no way he was going to get that off on 3rd down and 1, so he uses a timeout. And that will be 2 remaining now for the Steelers as the game winds down here in the 4th quarter. All right, Championship Monday, Bowl Day here on NBC, New Year's Day, the Hall of Fame Bowl, Auburn and Ohio State, the Fiesta Bowl, Nebraska and Florida State. Then the big one for the national championship, Colorado goes in undefeated against Notre Dame. Their only loss the last game of the regular season to Miami. January 1st, your place to be right here on NBC. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. Incidentally, the Rocket, Raghib Ismail, is said to have a shoulder separation. Lou Holtz said that, he won't be able to play. The Rockets said, you know, if the game was tomorrow, I'd be able to play. All right, second half of the doubleheader, Buffalo and San Francisco here on NBC, as the Bills go into really a must-win situation for themselves, and they have to do it out at Candlestick. So I guess, getting back to the Irish situation, Lou Holtz kind of playing possum again.
All those big college coaches play possum better than anybody else.
Brister shovels. Here's Merrill Hodge running. All the way down to the New England 30-yard line at a first down. Nice play by the Steelers.
Now, really a safe play. Remember, this is actually a forward pass, even though he throws it underhanded. So if it's knocked down or if Hodge drops it, it's an incomplete forward pass and not a fumble. Nice play by Brister, hanging onto it for the last second, and Hodge gets the corner and picks up a big first down for the Steelers. They can ice it here with another score.
Oh, bad use of word there. Ice it. This thing was iced when we showed up this morning. It's at the 30-yard line. It's Derek Hill and Lewis Lips, the wide receivers. Worley and Hodge make up the running backs, and it's Hodge again off the left side this time, getting down to the New England 26-yard line. Lawrence McGrew and Johnny Rembert in on the tackle for the Patriots. Let's keep in touch with these big games. Now Cincinnati, wow, 38-0. Houston now must win next week at home against Cleveland on a Saturday night game to wrap up the AFC Central. Cleveland leads on a Bernie Kosar pass. Green Bay now by 9 over Chicago. Those are the other games that are going on. And here in Pittsburgh, it's 21-3. Steelers over the Patriots. Second down. And Hodge slips as he gets tied up with his blocker and a New England defender, and Johnny Rembert is on top. So it's 3rd and 6 for the Steelers.
In this situation, you look for a conservative play call because they're in line for the field goal, and if they can kick it through, they'd be up by 21 and force the Patriots to score at least 3 times to get back into the contest.
12:50 left in regulation time, 3rd and 7. The Steelers have touchdowns in the first, second, and third quarters. And shotgun formation with 4 wideouts into the game. Dwight Stone is now in there for the injured Rodney Carter as Brister's looking for Lips. What a catch inside the 15-yard line. First down, Pittsburgh.
And Rod McSwain could not have any better coverage on this. Take a look at him, 23 going over the top, but it's Lips who gets his hand underneath the ball right along the turf. And Chuck Noll, what kind of a reaction does he give us? Well, not much of one, but you don't expect much from Noll. He's seen just about everything you can see in this league.
1st and 10 now at the 15-yard line. Boy, only 14 throws today for Brister. Again, Hill and Lips are his wide receivers. Hodge and Worley his backs. They're at the New England 15-yard line. It's Worley. Gets a couple of yards and gets down to the 13-yard line. He's wrapped up by David Ward.
Tackled by Ward.
11:39 left. Excuse me, Jimmy.
Brister, even though he's having a good afternoon, he still hasn't thrown the touchdown pass today. And he's the first to admit the stats don't really mean a whole lot, but this would be his 6th football game in a row where he's not thrown a TD pass.
2nd down and 7. Down at the New England 13-yard line. Puts a man in motion. It's Lips. They pitch it to Worley. No running room at all. New England throws a lot of defenders over there, and Bruce Schultz chases him out. We have a fight in the end zone now, and we've got some swinging going on too, as it was Merrill Hodge in the middle of it, I think, and I'm trying to look at the defender. He's pointing at Raymond Claiborne.
Raymond Claiborne, yeah. Now Raymond Claiborne's been around this league. This is his 13th season, and in his early days, this was the common scene with Raymond Claiborne because he's a feisty defender, but he's mellowed through the years. I'm a bit surprised to see him in the middle of the fray.
And the ball comes back to the 12-yard line. Let's see if we can check out what happened here. Oh, yeah, there's Claiborne and Hodge. Those were the 2 participants. And Hodge in there with a strong right hand.
Oh, Fred Marion got involved as well.
Steelers call another timeout. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Donovan and Jimmy Cephalo, Mark Wilson with the parka on over on the Patriots sideline. Pittsburgh's been forced to use 2 timeouts on this drive, so they only have 1 left with the 11:01 left, and they lead 21-3. The ball is at the New England 12, shotgun formation. Brister from Merrill Hodge inside the 5, close to the 1 and out of bounds at the 1-yard line. And the official took the worst of that. Look at him, he got nailed by Hodge flying out of bounds.
It's another great catch by Hodge. Rod McSwain, for the second time in this drive, had tremendous coverage. But Hodge, with a good concentration, McSwain gives him the push right at the end. He still has enough presence of mind to stay in bounds. Take a look at it. Look at that. He has enough presence to get his feet in bounds. And even if he didn't, it was the push by McSwain. That right foot would have forced him out of bounds. Good call by the official. And it's a good catch inside the 1 for the Steelers. Left one in, right one out, but it's the push by McSwain that forces him out of bounds.
Pittsburgh has had to use another timeout as the clock was running, and when they were in the huddle, all of a sudden Brister took a peek over his offensive line when there were only 5 seconds left. They hadn't come out of the huddle yet. So they've used them all. They're out of timeouts. Not that they're going to need them down late, but...
I mean, the fans got out of it a bit, but look, there's 11 minutes left in the game. They're about to go up by 28-3. I mean, they're really not going to need them going down the stretch.
So let's check the scores now. 45-0 Cincinnati. They end the season at Minnesota. Houston ends the season at home next Saturday night against Cleveland. Cleveland now leads Minnesota. That game has opened up a bit, 14-10 after being scoreless for a long time. Green Bay 30-28 against the Bears, who were eliminated last week. Now Indianapolis leads Miami. Kansas City by 3 over San Diego. The Chiefs must win to stay in the hunt. And Detroit shutting out Tampa Bay 27-0. 21-3. The Steelers lead. Second half of the doubleheader, big game for Buffalo. San Francisco will be the host to the Bills. Buffalo at 8-6, losing last week at home. Now they have to win out on the West Coast. First and goal at the New England 1. Brister long count. Worley over the top. And did not get in. Now, yesterday when we talked to Bubby Brister, he said, you know, when we get down to this situation, we haven't been scoring, and I haven't had a quarterback sneak all year long from this range, and I'd really like to do it sometimes, but we don't really have a play system set up for that call, I guess, right?
Well, they have it in the huddle, but what he was saying was that at the line of scrimmage,
when he sees it, right?
They don't have an audible count, but what he can do is just, as we've got an injured player down on the ground, that's Kenneth Sims, number 77, the defensive end for the Patriots. What he can do is simply go to the line of scrimmage and tap the center just before the ball is snapped, and that's the signal. It's kind of a universal sign among football teams in the NFL. Tap the center, and it's a quarterback sneak.
Now, last year, I think he told us he had 6 touchdowns rushing the football on plays like that. This year, he doesn't have any. You know, like the old Fifth Dimension song, wouldn't you like to take a ride in my beautiful balloon? No thanks, not today.
Take a look at Worley trying to go over the top. He gets a good leap off, but he just had too far to go.
Push back. David Ward is in there for New England. He's played well since coming in, and then the secondary comes up to make the back wall, stopping Worley from going in. So Chuck Noll and Tom Moore again waiting for the injury to be taken care of, and it's Kenneth Sims, and he's now walking off the field under his own power, and that's good because Sims has had so many injuries since coming into the NFL. A top draft choice for New England out of Texas. He's been hampered by injuries. He came into this season and has been healthy and has had a good year. Next Saturday, join NBC Sports World for a holiday celebration, the classic holiday ballet on skates, as NutraSweet presents Dorothy Hamill in the Nutcracker on Ice. Plus, join Marv Albert as he looks back on the past decade's wild and wacky on the Albert Achievement Awards. That's coming up next Saturday afternoon following the Jets and Bills on Sports World. Second down and goal. Pittsburgh at the 1. Hodge and Worley. O'Shea in motion. Brister keeping it. He bumps into the official. The loose ball is picked up, and there goes Roland James. Down the sideline, the official is blowing the play dead, and one official is saying, look at that guy run as James goes in. With no officials down there signaling touchdown, they're saying the play is dead back at the 20-yard line.
They're saying it's an incomplete pass. And the question is, was Bubby Brister's arm beginning to move forward? If it was, then it is an incomplete forward pass.
An incomplete pass. His arm was moving forward when he threw the ball.
I don't know.
No,
about
it wasn't. That wasn't moving forward. That hit him when it was moving back.
I agree. There's no way in the world that Brister's arm was going forward on this play. He really hits the official on his backward swing. Look at that. It's not moving forward at all.
No, it's moving forward after it's gone. James picks it up, uses the downed referee as a blocker, and goes rolling down. Thinking right now he's got a touchdown, looking around and finding out that he didn't. And not only will they rule it incompleted pass, but then of course Pittsburgh gets the ball back inside the 1-yard line. Boy, that's a straight. That's got to be in the Wild and Wacky next week on Sports World.
Yeah, I think Marv has got to include this. That's a very poor call on the part of the officials. The ball obviously going back.
Well, how could he even see it? He was going down himself.
The call was made by the side judge.
Oh.
I don't think.
I think they're going to take a look at it right now, Jimmy. That's why the Steelers were ready to come up to the line of scrimmage, and I think they're going to take a look at the play. The replay official is Bill Parkinson. All right, watch it again. The collision with the referee, Tom Dooley.
And Dooley trying to get out of the way, but he had no shot. And obviously going back because it hits him square in the head.
It's gone right there.
Exactly. His arm was not moving forward at all.
All right, this should really be a good view of it. That's gone right there. That arm is not moving forward. Roland James picks it up and is gone.
Now, part of the preview of the replay official is possession, so this does come under the guise of the replay.
I think you got to give him a touchdown.
Well, but was the whistle blown? I mean, you know, this is part of the controversy of the replay. Was the whistle blown before Roland James got into the end zone?
Well, just what we needed on an ice cold day in Pittsburgh, a long decision.
About 26,000 fans showed up here today, and they got a real treat on this call. Take a look at it. Right square in the head as Dooley get bopped, and obviously on the backswing of Bubby Brister.
All right, they're still waiting on it right here. Boy, all of those views, all of our camera shots gave you a great view of that play. The ball clearly comes out before that arm is moving forward. I mean, he's still in the take back when it really hits his helmet and the official. Brister waiting.
So, what are you going to do for Christmas, Jim?
We have a reversal. The play was ruled fumble. The defensive team picked the ball up. The officials blew the whistle with the defensive team in possession on the 30-yard line.
Oh.
It's New England's ball, 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line.
Oh. How do you blow the play dead? I mean, how do you blow the play dead on that play?
One thing we know for certain, the referee didn't blow the play dead because Dooley was laid out on the field. It must have been one of the other officials.
All right, Chuck Knoll is pleading his case, but over on the other sideline, let's see, I don't think that they can get the ear of any officials over on the New England sideline. It's been that kind of year, Raymond. Johnny Rembert explaining what he had heard from the officials out there. Well, New England gets the ball, but I mean, if the thing was ruled a fumble, and it was, James went all the way for the touchdown. But I remember when I was watching him, I did see the official blowing the play dead back at the 30-yard line.
Well, there's really no way to determine exactly where James was when the whistle was blown.
Wilson standing up, but he won't stand long. A sitting duck for Keith Willis to come in and get him. Aaron Jones, rather. Make it Aaron Jones who comes in and gets him. There's Jones. So New England calls back the wide receivers right away. They start the clock. 10 minutes left. 3 sacks of Wilson today, and back to work. Incomplete on the wrong side of Fryer. And it's 3rd down. 3rd and 17 now.
When you think back on it, the Steelers have really squandered 10 points today. 4th and 1 inside the 5-yard line. Early in the contest, they miss it. Don't go for the field goal. And now they've got a situation where it's 2nd down and less than a yard inside the 1. They go for the trick play, and the fumble occurs. So 10 points really separates this game from being a blowout on the side of the Steelers.
4 wide receivers in for the Patriots on 3rd down and 17. Good blocking. Almost intercepted by Rod Woodson. As Wilson throws into heavy coverage by the Steelers, trying to get it to Irving Fryer, and New England will punt. Well, I'll tell you what, Wilson's had a lot of opportunities today to move this team into the end zone, and he just hasn't led them there.
He's thrown the ball well in spurts, but they've bogged down in the important part of the field, which is inside the 30-yard line. And you know, I think it's going to be a very tough decision for this Patriot management. I think they've got to go out and find themselves a quarterback. I mean, they've gone every route, and none of them have worked for them this season. I think they need to go find one through the draft, with a trade, or with Plan B.
Jeff Feagles into punt. Rod Woodson waits back for the Steelers. Feagles double hitches, and of course then there were Patriots down the field, so a flag goes down. Woodson back at his 15. Out to the 25-yard line.
I like this play. This is a fake. This is a punter's fake.
Kind of a changeup.
Yeah.
The punter's version of a changeup.
I've never seen this happen before in my life.
I didn't see him drop the ball.
And then he gets the perfect bounce back and gets a pretty darn good kick away.
Well, by the time he did get the kick away, there were about 9 Patriots down the field.
Illegal man downfield, number 64 on the kicking team. Number 92, illegal block by the receiving team. We will replay the down. It will be 4th down.
Jerry Olszewski is nailed for the illegal block. Mike Morris, the center, is nailed for being down the field. Let's watch it again. Now we've had 2 plays that Marv could include next week on Saturday Sports World.
We've got 2 for you, Marv. There's one.
And watch it right here, Jimmy. Yes, the double clutch on the puck, and it is away. In the wild and wacky right there. So the ball will be spotted out over the 23.
That is the best Marv Albert imitation I have ever heard.
Some say it's even better than Marv himself. All right, Woodson stands back at his 38 with 9:31 left. As Feagles, the more conventional punt this time. Woodson takes it at the 29, and here he comes. Out over the 40 to the 43-yard line and out of bounds. And we'll be right back. 9:18 left to go here in the 4th quarter. 21-3 Steelers. Over 26,000 here at Three Rivers. Capacity 59, over 26,000, close to 27 on a brutal day weather-wise here today on the Steelers' final regular season home appearance here at Three Rivers. They lead 21-3 over New England. Tim Worley spins out to the 45-yard line. Johnny Rembert is there. And here we go around the league now. We'll check the scores. 52-0 Cincinnati.
3rd quarter.
Cleveland hanging on to an important 4-point lead. The Packers, now if Green Bay wins and Minnesota loses today, Green Bay and Minnesota would be tied at the NFC Central, but the Pack needs even more help because in tiebreakers they lose that matchup against Minnesota. Boy, Miami taking it on the button. It's Worley again, trapped in the backfield. So Miami losing today. We have an injured player down on the field for the Steelers. Reenstra, I think.
Well, right now, Miami losing in the AFC East. Coming into today's action, the Dolphins and Bills were tied. But a tie between those two, the win would go to the Bills because they beat the Dolphins head-to-head twice this season.
There's a flag down on this play.
Holding, number 60 out there. Second down.
Brian Blankenship in at left guard gets nailed for the holding call. 8:39 left.
But the loss by the Dolphins bodes well for the Steelers. I mean, that's one of the variables they need to continue on with their playoff hopes.
Pittsburgh ends the year in Tampa Bay next week. New England is at home against the LA Rams. It is second down and 18 from the 35 after the penalty, and Mike Mularkey, the tight end, is open and on a roll. Down to the New England 37-yard line. It's a pass play covering 28 yards to the tight end Mularkey.
This just displays, though, what kind of an arm Bobby Brister has. He drills this thing. He takes a deeper drop than most NFL quarterbacks, but the coverage coming from the inside, that's 52 Johnny Rember trying to find Mularkey, but it's the throw by Bobby Brister. Direct on the money, giving the receiver enough time to turn up the field before a defender gets to him. Great throw by Brister.
1st and 10 now, Pittsburgh. Worley and Hodge. They go to Hodge. Down to the 35-yard line.
Hodge.
Tackled by Tim Goad. And Milford Hodge comes in and makes the tackle too. Now remember, more football coming up today for most of you on our NBC station. Second half of the doubleheader. The Buffalo Bills are out at Candlestick Park, ready to take on the San Francisco 49ers. The Bills 8-6. The team locked in a little bit of controversy too. Jim Kelly and his teammates at odds, and that's what's coming up next as they need a win. So they're going to have to kiss and make up there and get it going. Here's Worley. Cut back at the 30. Down to the 29-yard line. And it will be third down for the Steelers. Johnny Rembert is over there on the tackle. And David Ward chased him down too and gets up a little bit slowly.
8 of 6 yards, third down.
So come the final week of the regular season next week, there will be big games aplenty.
Well, you had, in the AFC alone, you had 9 teams with a shot at making it to the playoffs coming into today's action. The only team that had wrapped it up was the Broncos, winners in the AFC West. So if parity was the goal of the NFL, they've really achieved it. Lots of teams still available coming to last week.
Look at Milford Hodge. He's got a blocker. Weegee Thompson down the field, clearing him a path all the way down inside the New England 10 to the 7-yard line. Hodge started the play up the middle. Saw that it was clogged there, so he headed to the outside. And he gets the first down. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Steelers at the New England 7.
Well, a great pull by Brian Blankenship, number 60. That's what springs him out to the corner. But if he gets out downfield from Weegee Thompson, he gets more than the 22 yards that he got. He'd have gotten the score out of it.
As you saw, Hodge is over 60 yards rushing on the day, and Worley has 94. That's a good 1-2 punch in that backfield, as we mentioned earlier. Steelers trying to punch it in now. Remember, they had disaster here when Brister got locked up with the official. It's Worley wide open, dives, and is stopped at the 1. David Ward helped push him back. Tim Goad is in on the tackle along with Fred Marion. I wonder if there's any feeling in those arms of Goad playing with the short sleeves today.
I don't know, but another seal block, good one by Hodge, number 33, and that really helps to spring the running back up the middle. And you're right, this 1-2 punch of Tim Worley and Merrill Hodge really looks good for the future in the Steeler running game.
Worley's at 99 yards rushing on the day. It is 2nd down and goal from the 2. Merrill Hodge, head down, drives and scores. Touchdown, Steelers. We were at the Army-Navy game there for a while with the cannon going off.
7, New England 3. Newsom holding.
5:26 left in the game. Here it is. Watch 33. Head down. Right in.
Blankenship gets around the corner and helps along the middle, but it's the just the push and the effort by Hodge that gets him into the end zone from a yard away.
Newsom holds for Gary Anderson. And the kick is good. Pittsburgh's rush for 212 yards on the day. Bubby Brister handing the ball off to Merrill Hodge. And Hodge goes in for the touchdown as the Steelers up their lead to 28-3 with 5:26. Back at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, there's a scoring drive, 57 yards. It took 3:52, and Merrill Hodge goes in for his second touchdown of the day. And Pittsburgh 28-3 over New England with 5:26 left. And the Steelers will go to 8-7 as George Wansley runs under the kick for the Patriots at the 9. And goes down at the 25 to the 26-yard line where Dwight Stone comes down and makes the tackle. Cincinnati 52-0. They'll end the year next week at Minnesota. And Houston is at home against Cleveland. Cleveland leads over Minnesota. Herschel Walker has a touchdown in that game, but Kozar has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Now, Green Bay will, if they can hang on and Minnesota loses, they would end up tied right now going to the last weekend in the NFC Central. Indianapolis lays it on Miami after the Dolphins jumped out, but San Diego on a Billy Joe Tolliver pass to Anthony Miller has gone ahead of Kansas City. That would wreck the Chiefs' playoff hopes. And Pittsburgh leads here over New England. John Stevens. And he runs out of bounds up the far sideline. Now, some of those scenarios, if those scores hold up, help Pittsburgh.
Yeah, 2 of them do. The Dolphins losing helps them. Kansas City, if they lose, would help them. But they needed today for the Cincinnati Bengals to lose a football game and for the Browns to lose a game. But right now, both those teams leading. There's the scenario again. If the Steelers are hoping to get into the playoffs, they need Buffalo to win the AFC East division. That's because the tiebreaker against Buffalo, against the Dolphins, they win that one.
And that is possible now because Miami is going to lose today. And there was the rest of the possibilities as the pass is complete to the rookie Hartley Dykes. Next week, Pittsburgh is at Tampa Bay.
Forced out of bounds by Woodruff.
Dykes back to the Patriots huddle. Next Sunday, on the final Sunday of regular season action, these games, the Raiders and Giants, Kansas City and Miami.
Their own 48-yard line.
Denver and San Diego is the 4 o'clock game. We'll have football action on Saturday, too. NFL Live next Saturday. And then the Bills and Jets at noontime. It all starts at noontime with NFL Live.
Wilson's pass intended for Pryor. Incomplete.
Now, next Saturday, the Bills and Jets are a game. Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson, a reunion for the Juice and the Electric Company. That great Buffalo line that led him on that way to that great rushing season.
And he'll never forget when he went over the 2,000-yard marker. I believe it was against the Jets.
At Shea Stadium.
Great snowstorm coming down, and the group that really carried him through the season, lifting him off the field and carrying him to the sidelines. A great moment in NFL history.
And they were so concerned that he wouldn't get it that day because of the snow. They had terrible field conditions there. And Hartley Dykes tiptoes along the sidelines, has the catch and a first down too. As we come down to 4:24 left in the game, this is our final regular season broadcast. Jimmy and I are off to various bowl games coming up on our championship Monday. And Jimmy, a great pleasure working with you this year.
Yeah, same here. I really enjoyed it, Jim. We've had a good crew too.
Our thanks to our producer John J. Filippelli and our director Bob Levy and Dick Ellis and Bridget Rooney and all the rest who have been with us around the stops around the NFL. Rick Strom, the rookie, was warming up as Mark Wilson airing it out for Cedric Jones, and Delton Hall was right over the shoulder on him, and the pass is incomplete. And we wish you all a very happy holiday season, and for the people back in New England, we wish the Patriots a lot of good health. They need that for next year. They certainly had a tough season this year.
And you can trace it back. It's difficult sometimes to trace the reason why a team falls off the edge during one particular season and goes to a losing record. But with the Patriots, there's really no question about it. It was purely due to injury. They had more injuries than any team in the NFL. As we said earlier, 18 on the injured reserve list. They lost 9 for this season. They had 2 physically unable to perform. The list goes on and on and on.
Second down and 10. Delton Hall, it looked like slipped in the icy part of the end zone. Nice catch by Lynn Dawson across the middle. And Dawson, the tight end, brings it down near the Pittsburgh 25-yard line. So the field is frozen on the outskirts, especially over on the corners of the end zone. That's where Hall slipped on the coverage there. It might have turned an ankle. Shotgun. Up high goes Fryer, but he can't come down with the ball. Lost it at the 17.
Wilson's pass intended for Fryer. Incomplete. Second down, 10.
And it will be 2nd and 10. So the Steelers' record of never going below 500 at home will be safe, as they'll end up 4-4 here at Three River Stadium.
Yeah, they began their play here at Three Rivers in 1970, and what a decade they went through during that period. And here it seems like they're beginning to turn the corner again. This has been a fruitful season for the Steelers, whether they make the playoffs or not.
2nd down and 10. Nice catch, Hartley Dykes down to the 6-yard line. Boy, what a nice grab by Dykes. And boy, he's had a nice ball game for New England. Hartley Dykes, the rookie from Oklahoma State.
Now, the biggest thing he's showing is a lot of heart. He doesn't have the greatest speed in the world, but again, he's catching football over the middle, taking the big hit, and making the big play for the Patriots.
See if New England can punch it in. Look out, Wilson gets away from Keith Willis. Near side, lobbing it up into the end zone, and it's incomplete. And the crowd saying that he intentionally grounded that one. Dykes today has 9 catches for 109 yards just to get back to the rookie number 88, Hartley Dykes. With 3:21 left, though, Mark Wilson got away from a sack by Willis, but then still couldn't find anybody to throw to. You know, go back to the Steelers a second. When you really take a look at this team, now they're 8-7 when they win today. Remember, they lost their first 2 games of the season, and they were outscored 92-10, and they wanted this guy to step down at that time. I mean, people were saying the game had passed them by.
You know, you hear that so much. They were saying it about Don Shula in Miami. They were saying about Chuck Noll in Pittsburgh. These guys just have greater experience. That's all they have.
John Stevens can't find running room. Got away from 1 tackle, but it's dropped down at the 5 by Tim Johnson and David Johnson. 3:08 left, and it's 3rd down from the 5.
Gain of a yard, 3rd down, 5.
So Chuck Noll has turned the corner with this team.
And when you think about it, he has to receive some consideration for Coach of the Year in the NFL. I mean, whether they make the playoffs or not, the turnaround has been remarkable.
2:48 left. Wilson stands up straight, fires. No, Hartley Dykes can't hang on. Coverage by Delton Hall, who comes back in after turning his ankle a few plays ago. But Hartley Dykes cannot hang on in the end zone. So it will be 4th down, and New England will go.
Dykes on the outside with a good movement across, and not a bad throw by Wilson. He really stretched out for it, but had an opportunity to come down with the catch. I keep waiting for them to send Dykes into the corner of the end zone with that the size advantage that he has over most defensive backs.
And kind of alley-oop one into him. 2:45 left. It's 4th down from the 5. Oh, that's gone. That one had no chance at all. It looked like, I guess, he was throwing for Fryer. So again, they can't punch it in. I mean, they've been down there 3 or 4 times.
It's been the story of the day for the Patriots, driving from 30 to 30. They've looked like a championship team, but 30 to the goal line, they've just been inept all afternoon.
More football today on NBC. The Bills and 49ers are waiting out at Candlestick, ready to go. Second half of the doubleheader. You'll see that right here coming up next for most of you on these NBC stations. Rick Strom is in at quarterback now. Strom's in his first year from Georgia Tech. Kind of a funny story about Strom, and I'll relate it to you after this first play, as the ball is out at the 5-yard line. And he hands it off. They give it to Worley. Worley should be up near 100 yards if he gets 1 on that play. Strom had to take the last snap against Houston a couple of weeks ago because there was a penalty that ended the half, and they had to run 1 more play. Well, Brister had gone to the locker room by that time, and they couldn't find him down the tunnel. So they just kept on going, and they called Strom out to take the snap. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, New England Patriots, and
Second
Pittsburgh
down
Steelers.
and 10.
All rights reserved.
What a game Earl Hodge has had this afternoon. I mean, when you look at their running attack, he's really performed well, and he'll get our MVP vote this afternoon.
So it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award. Jimmy just gave it away. Sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP is Merrill Hodge from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games.
Another story about Rick Strom. He competed in the punt, pass, and kick as a youngster here at Three River Stadium. Didn't win it, but as a young man, he was here at 9 years of age, and now lining up as a real Steeler.
It's Tim Terrell, the running back out of Northern Illinois, and he brings it out near the 10-yard line. Thanks to our spotters today, Tim Fogarty and Mike McGinley, and our stats crew, George Jordan and John Rooney. All right, let's check in around the league again, as some games should be close to being in final capacity. Cincinnati, big winner. Cleveland hanging on at home against Minnesota. Green Bay is up their lead over the Bears to 9 points. Boy, Green Bay, what a story they have been under Lindy and Fonte. Miami is out of it today. Indianapolis beats them. San Diego beating Kansas City 20-13. Most people felt the Chiefs, if they got into the playoffs, would be tough to knock out. Their chances would take a serious blow today, though. And Detroit, 33-0 is Wayne Fonts up at Lion Country, has had his team on a roll now for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
You know, getting back to that Houston and Cincinnati game, you have to wonder what kind of a psychological blow that is to the Oilers, being beaten by 52 points in the next to the last week of the season. They still have a shot at winning the AFC Central if they can beat the Browns next week at the Astrodome. But
such a different team, though, right? At home,
completely,
and on the road.
We've seen them just be dominating at home, and as they've shown today, just a lackluster performance on the road.
Worley gets the carry, and Worley now is over 100. He's at 103 yards rushing, and I'm sure there are many more 100-yard rushing days in his career. He has come on in the last 5 or 6 games of the season. Go ahead, head to the car, start it up.
Hey, if you're here this long, you may as well wait the last 2 minutes and 18 seconds.
Fourth down, Newsom back to kick.
Yeah. I hope it starts, Jimmy.
Pryor back to receive for New England.
So the ball is out over the 10-yard line. Pittsburgh did not get the first down, and Harry Newsom will punt. And Irving Fryer is back deep for the Patriots. New England has been held without a touchdown today. 28-3, Steelers lead. And waiting for the snap now. As they're using up as much clock as the game clock hasn't started, so they're using up no clock, just on the play clock. Newsom punts it away. Fryer makes the fair catch at the 45.
Pryor taking the kick.
And that's where New England will start, at their Pittsburgh 45-yard line with 2:11 left. And Mark Wilson comes back as they were stopped on a 4th down and goal from the 5 the last time. Steeler defense doing a great job in the second half, especially when last week they had a shutout against the Jets, so they didn't allow any points there. Look at that defensive play, flying in Rod Woodson. Boy, he can make up ground so quickly, and Chuck Noll says, you know what, he knows it too, and sometimes he sits back and waits, and his advantage is his speed.
Well, you have to have a great deal of confidence. If you're going to play cornerback in the NFL, you have to have tremendous confidence, and he does. Take a look at 26, that's Woodson. Now watch the makeup speed. Clearly he's beaten on the pattern, but he's never completely out of a play, no matter how much he's fooled by a pattern.
2nd down 10 after the incompleted pass. Oh, right on the numbers, and Lynn Dawson cannot hang on. David Johnson over the top to help out on coverage. You could hear that one hit the shoulder pads of Lynn Dawson.
Dave Johnson. 3rd down 10.
3rd and 10, that's how it went. 7-3 after 1, 14-3 at the half. And the Patriots blanks in the third quarter and so far here in the fourth, too, as the Steelers, the model of consistency, won in each quarter, getting it done today.
And now this Steeler defense has not given up a touchdown in 2 straight football games. Their confidence has to be riding high. And the other good point is that even if they do not make it into the playoffs this season, ending on this positive note makes for a good off-season workout program, a good preseason, and that's the impetus to have a championship year.
Third down 15.
Well, the penalty is on New England, so it becomes 3rd down and 15. Here's the center, 68, Mike Babb, who was with Cleveland, brought over last year just before the opening game. Then he got in there and replaced Trevor Maddich, didn't he, who was a former #1 draft choice. And he's been in there solid as the Patriots center. Wilson down the middle, Fryer's open. He has it, and a first down to the 33-yard line.
Pass to Fryer.
And we are under 2 minutes now. 1:54 left here in Pittsburgh as the Steelers rolling to a win over New England, 28-3. We'll be back.
2 minutes remaining to be played.
Back in Pittsburgh. Oh, it's a lonely day in the seats, a cold day in the seats. Bing Crosby playing over the public address system, and you like to be with friends today, huddled up in a nice warm blanket. That's enough of that.
And you're still getting end of the deal. We've got the hand warmers. I mean, we've been prepared in the booth. Down on the field, it's been about -5 degrees with the wind chill, and up here in the booth, not much warmer. But been a pleasant afternoon nonetheless. Good football.
Absolutely.
1st and 10.
Nice bit, Jimmy. All right, Mark Wilson with 1:50 left. He airs it out, looking for Cedric Jones, and Delton Hall is there with the right-hand knockaway.
A bit underthrown by Wilson. He had Cedric Jones down the sideline by a good step. Take a look at the end of the play. He's got him beat by a good yard, but has to wait to come back to the football, and Hall had enough to come back and just knock it away.
1:48 now left, and it will be 2nd down and 10. Well, the Steeler fans, those that have been here today, when the scores have been flashed up on the scoreboard, they've been watching and cheering when they know that the combinations are right to get their Steelers into the playoffs, when the teams that they need to lose are losing, and that is happening today. Some of those combinations are right for them.
Wilson's pass intended for Dykes. Incomplete.
The Bills and 49ers next on doubleheader day here on NBC. Buffalo comes in at 8-6. San Francisco at 12-2. They already have home field all the way through. They locked that up on Monday night when they beat the Rams. The Bills are not in yet. And that's coming up next. Bills and 49ers.
Third down.
Their penalty on the Patriots is declined. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. So it will be 3rd down and 10. Wilson's put it up 50 times so far this afternoon. 50 pass attempts. And now 51 is a catch by Marv Cook. And Cook is out inside the 30 at the 29, and they'll come up 4th down.
Forced out of bounds by Dave Johnson.
It's amazing just how many times they've crossed the 50-yard line going in and have not gotten any points out of it today.
266 yards. So on paper, it looks like a great day except for the no touchdowns. The 1 interception. Very little running game here by the Patriots today.
And that's been their basic problem this afternoon. Now, Wilson has not performed that poorly. In spurts, he's been terrific.
Oh, look at Aaron Jones. 97 was across the line of scrimmage as Wilson throws on 4th down, and Hartley Dykes tries to stretch out and make the catch.
Wilson's pass intended for Dykes.
But they'll get the Steelers for being offside, and that will make it 4th and 1 instead of 4th and 6.
Offside. Number 97 defense. 4th down.
Kenneth Sims on the Patriots bench.
4th down and 1.
There's the jump inside. On the other side of the ball, Keith Willis was a good 2 yards into the backfield, so the Steelers had several people to choose from.
1:30 now left. 4th down and 1. They give it off to Perryman. And Robert Perriman cuts inside the 20, inside the 15, has a first down at the 13-yard line of Pittsburgh.
Taken out of bounds by Griffin.
There he is, Robert Perriman out of the University of Michigan.
And these fans are something, aren't they? They're still going to hang out. They're just waiting and sitting, and despite the cold temperature, it's kind of like, you know, let's play two, or Ernie Banks thought. Let's have a doubleheader. We'll sit out here and watch it again.
A lot of snow here Friday. Some great camera shots now.
We didn't say they were watching it. We said they were here. That's all.
Wilson on first down, end zone for Cedric Jones. Touchdown, New England. As he had possession right on the back line, and Cedric Jones, who's been working on Delton Hall all afternoon, especially late in the game, catches the Mark Wilson touchdown pass with 1:16 left.
And a smile breaks on the face of Mark Wilson. I tell you, they deserved it after all this. They've gone up and down the field, but denied in the end zone. A nice decoy by Cedric Jones, waiting till the last second to look up for the football, and that's what fooled Hall into the end zone.
So Cedric Jones with the touchdown catch as he held on to it waist level. Mark Wilson holds. This is all he was doing while they were for the Patriots earlier this season, just holding. Starofsky with the extra point, and he squeezes it through.
It gets good.
New England's on the board with a touchdown. They trail 28-10, and we have 1:16 left. We'll be back. 28-10, the Patriots on the board with a touchdown catch by that man, Cedric Jones.
And he's really been the most productive receiver the Patriots have had all year long. He's been in there replacing everybody you can name. Stanley Morgan went out with the injury. Fryer was gone with the injury, but Cedric Jones has been the most consistent that Raymond Berry has relied on all season long.
1:16 left. Steelers will take the kickoff back. Dwight Stone is going back deep on the sideline. There's Bubby.
What was your impression in our meeting with him yesterday?
Oh, I thought he was as loose, you know, really a lot of fun to talk to.
Very open.
Very, very open.
Not afraid to tell you what the game plan is or what his thoughts for the upcoming season might be.
What would you say he's a combination of? I mean, when he's on the field with some of his, you know, rah-rah gestures, you can see a little bit of Bradshaw in him there.
Well, as far as ability is concerned, he's got a tremendous arm. He's got maybe an arm that he really doesn't know what to do with just quite yet. I mean, he throws a lot of heat to people, and sometimes he needs to take something off it.
Onside kick attempt by New England. Ball is loose. Ball is bounding around, and I think the Patriots might have it. Let's see. They're pointing like they had it. Yes, George Wansley comes up with the recovery for New England as it bounced off one of the Steelers. And then number 35, George Wansley. That was well done by the Patriots. Starofsky with a bullet to the front line. Perfectly done, and Wansley comes up with the attempt. Here it is again. Look at Eric Sievers marching the troops down. He was, you know, he was on his way to West Point one time. He comes from a military background. He looked like a drill sergeant there, and there's the recovery.
It's tough to be on that team, the so-called good hands team, trying to recover the onside. It's especially tough when it's this cold. You've been standing on the sideline for a long period of time. Tough play for the defenders.
The ball hit off Thomas Everett. Wilson in trouble, throws. Cedric Jones was the intended receiver, and it's incomplete down at the 30-yard line. Keith Willis was right on the back of Wilson in the pocket and almost brought him down. We're down to 1:11. Second down and 10. Pittsburgh wins today. They go to 8-7. New England's loss makes them 5-10. And Wilson back again for Hartley Dykes, and it's incomplete.
Wilson's pass intended for Dykes, incomplete.
Raymond Berry said to us last night this team had more character than anyone he's ever been associated with, and he included the days that he played his own playing days in the pro ranks, and they showed a lot of heart today. You never got the feeling that they were going to give up on it, and they had every excuse to give up. It's cold. They're out of the playoff picture. They're down by 18 points, and here they are with 1:06 left, still going after it.
Well, the Steelers are in the neutral zone again, and they made contact. Tim Johnson was in there. Let's see what the call is. Johnson saying that he was drawn off. So the officials huddle, and Tom Dooley.
We reset the clock to 1:06. We have false start, offense, third down.
All right, let's check the scoreboard now. Houston got on the board. It's 58-7. Minnesota goes ahead at Cleveland 17-14. And the Browns would be in big trouble if they lose that one. Now, Green Bay needs a Minnesota loss. Indianapolis has beaten Miami. The Dolphins' playoff hopes are really in trouble now, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got to win next week if they've got a shot. The 4 o'clock game's Atlanta on the board against Washington, 3-0.
And remember, coming up is a Hartley-Dykes catch, and then right after that,
Wilson
and under a minute, the Bills and 49ers.
And that's a big game with a lot of playoff implications for the AFC. The Bills can take it all in the AFC East if they can win this afternoon. Now that the Dolphins lost at the Dome in Indianapolis.
10 catches for Hartley-Dykes for 130 yards. Wilson drops it, picks it up, runs with it. This is like touch football on the sidewalk right there as he goes out of bounds with 29 seconds left.
But again, showing more movement than I ever remember Mark Wilson having to get out of bounds with the football.
Remember, the Bills and 49ers are underway, and we'll send you out to Candlestick Park in San Francisco with Dick Enberg and Bill Walsh right after we finish up here.
And the reason the Bills can wrap up the AFC East title today is that if they would win, they would go to, let's see, 9-6. The Dolphins are 8-7. The best they can hope for is a tie with the Bills if that's the scenario, and ties go to the Bills because they beat the Dolphins twice during the season.
28 seconds left. Wilson looking for Hartley-Dykes. The step in and the interception by David Johnson at the 1-yard line. And the day for Mark Wilson is over. With 22 seconds left, Pittsburgh will just run it out, and this one will be over. 41 takeaways. Wow, 20 interceptions, 21 fumble recoveries. And they had to come, you know, to lead in that category, they really had to come a long way because they had such a dreadful start of turning the ball over themselves. Their opening game against Cleveland, I think they turned it over about 6, 7, 8 times.
Right, and then they really turned it around then offensively and have not given the ball up much in the latter part of the season.
The ball is at the 1-yard line. It's first down and 10 as Rick Strom takes it down. You know, he has to watch out. He can't take a knee. If he takes a knee down, he'll go in for safety. So he kind of pushes forward. And Noah was warning him, you know, that you can't do that. That's going to do it. As the Steelers are heading to the locker room, Chuck Noll is heading over to Raymond Berry to congratulate each other after this one, as this ball game's over, and the Pittsburgh Steelers end their home season with a win, which is exactly what they needed. The Steelers beat the New England Patriots 28-3. Raymond Berry has one more game left in a long season against the Rams next week. As for the Steelers, still hoping for the playoffs, they go to Tampa Bay next week. 28-10, they beat the Patriots. This is Jim Donovan along with Jimmy Cephalo saying so long from Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. Once again, our final score.